Okay. Get everything set up here. Okay, there's one stream. Pop out the chats. Here's another. Pop out the chats. What are we doing? Unreal Engine, Game Dev, RPG, Colony, Sim, RPG / Colony Sim / Procedural. Right. And that's... Okay. We're over here. Okay, and we're here. Repro, Marcoli, welcome you guys. Finally, I can be here from the start. Yeah, you're finally here to see me raw dog the intros. Yeah, my scuffed ass intros. I don't know, I should probably. I've been pondering whether or not I need like a starting stream. You know how a lot of streamers do that? They have like a stream starting soon screen, and I never understood why. But now I kind of get it. There's kind of some things I gotta look around and update and stuff. So welcome in, guys. Ripro, what's up? What's up with you? So yeah, yesterday I found out that I didn't actually fix the state tree bug that I thought I fixed. So that sucks. That really sucks. So I think what I'm gonna do is just kind of not use the subtrees for now until I can figure out what the hell to do, just so we can, you know, move forward, we can plow ahead. We'll keep that dead state in there. So I think I just need to, I'm going to swap out, I'll just copy what's in combat really. This one task is all I really need. And we'll delete the combat. We will need to go to root. So let's throw that in there. Root. If we succeed. We fail, next selectable state. On state failed, next selectable state. Okay. What is the state tree bug causing for issues again? Essentially, what I've narrowed it down to, I know what's happening. I don't know why it's happening or how to fix it. What's happening is essentially... Is this the... Yeah, delete that one. What's happening is whenever I transition out of a state tree, well, I shouldn't say whenever, it's pretty inconsistent, but the scenario is I transition out of a subtree, because you can, like, one of these states here can be, you can make it a linked asset, which is a subtree. And for some reason, the state tree internally adds like these kind of dummy parameters, this dummy instance storage called compact state tree parameters that holds nothing. There's nothing in it. And I found it to do in the source code that says, like, we shouldn't be doing this. We should totally not, you know, be adding this. But anyways, those always fail to destroy themselves. And that happens when transitioning out of a subtree, because it needs to, like, destroy all of its instance storage data, which contains those compact state tree parameters. And so they just kind of seem to not be able to track their memory properly. The instance storage... it like keeps track of its memory by keeping a like an offset to like some memory, and so it tries to clean up memory that I assume just doesn't belong to it, and or that doesn't exist, and it crashes. And it's when it's trying to clean up like a subtree when transitioning out of that subtree, which was formerly this, into like a different state, and it would just crash the game. So that's the scenario. Fair boy, welcome in. That's the that was the state tree issue, and I did actually find out they made some updates to the blueprint state tree stuff to where you can actually do background thread stuff. So I did actually play around with that a little bit last night. So we have, that's going to be really nice. That's going to be really nice. I'm so glad that works now. I had to create my own wrapper for it so that I could pass in my entity system context, because the previously just the regular interstate that they have, here's theirs, the built-in one. It doesn't have context on it, which is where my entity is. And that's how I get like all the entity data. So yeah, I replaced my populate global variables task with this one, which that's going to be it's going to be really, really nice to be able to create blueprint nodes. And maybe that helps with this crash. Maybe it's because I'm using too many C++ nodes or something. But yeah, we are root failed to transition to state combat. What happened? Combat. Oh yeah, we need to like probably just rename that. There we go. So yeah, we're gonna forget about subtrees for now and just try to plow ahead. We will need them, I think. It's going to be really important to be able to iterate effectively on this stuff, because I already have some other ones for like going to find food. That's a subtree. You know, going to find sleep somewhere, which is just one task for now, but that's a subtree too. Here's the find food subtree. So it is important. It is important. But yeah, we're just going to be doing some work on the procedural world spawning stuff. I basically just want to get it into a really good state where I'm not seeing issues happening with the ECS system. And I think one such thing, let's see what seed we're on, I forget. You know, I've seen some entities fall through the world, so I'll need to isolate that scenario. And I know there's some other scenarios where they can either start or end their movement off the nav mesh, so I'll need to isolate that scenario as well. I believe that there's also a scenario where a large delta time could cause them to do some really fucky things. So those are the kinds of scenarios I want to clamp down on. And I was just kind of specking out, like, kind of like the because I need to take a little bit of a step back before I started stream this morning to figure out what my overarching goals were and like what's next. And this is kind of what I came up with, and some of these are a little interchangeable. I might change terrain gen to CPU up, but we are going to need that before we can do like destructible terrain, for instance. Grass looks great. That's good to hear. Free asset for the win. So yeah, I guess we'll just kind of see if there are any crashes from the state tree anymore. Level 2, dang. Uh-oh. Oh god. Oh, that was close. That was a close one. Okay, let me write something. I just noticed something. Dual wield auto attacks should always alternate, even when interrupted by an ability cast. Ability cast or canceled, or auto attack canceled. Because it's weird, like I can start and stop the auto attack, so I stop it, and then the next time I do it, you know. So I want to make sure those always, because you can finesse that, right? Like my main hand weapon is stronger than the offhand weapon. So my main hand weapon got 10 damage, offhand is 7. It's a dagger, so that makes sense. And overall, it does speed up your weapon speed when you have dual wield equipped, so that's good. Oh god. The fireballs are quite strong. And yeah, so I could totally finesse that by doing the main hand attack, doing the ability attack, and then like you can effectively skip. Oh, nice fat heal crit there. Like if I alternate main hand, you know. Like I never did an offhand attack there until the end, which should have canceled. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for me to do, unless I'm out of mana to cast that ability to do the offhand attack. And also, they need to cancel after it dies. That's a bug I have written down that's kind of annoying. Good to see that the casters are actually working now. Uh-oh, no, I don't know, why did he do that? Okay, his logic is interesting. He switches to melee attack? I didn't know I wrote that. I don't know what mechanism I wrote that does that. It feels natural, but I feel like that actually shouldn't be the case. But we're not crashing so far, which is great news. But at what cost? At what cost? Are they all casters? That guy's a caster. That guy's a caster. Here we go. Here's a warrior. Oh, there's a ranger. Okay. The rangers don't work properly, I don't think. Aha, you're frozen. Ha ha ha. Nice. What do you guys think of the XP sound? So if you haven't noticed it, I hope it's coming through on stream. But when you kill someone, it makes like a little cha-ching or ding sound. Ding. I wanted something a little satisfying, because I know like in New World, they literally make a cha-ching sound anytime you kill something. And it is actually kind of satisfying. It is somewhat satisfying. Oh, I didn't have auto attack on. Near fireball. Fireball doesn't, not too overwhelming, but nice. Okay, good to hear. It is still just WoW sound, so I have to change it, but I do like the overall concept of there's a satisfying sound that happens when you get XP. Clean up, fireball, projectile. When entity dies. Okay, but let's start, I think we're good on the state tree now, that I just took out the subtree. Let's see how many entities I have. Now, this is going to be kind of hard to debug, because there's going to be a fucking lot, and running the visual logger is quite fucking slow. How many do we have here? We've got about 1,100. Interesting way to organize your features bugs. Was expecting Jira or Kanban. No, that's way too heavy-handed. I have a 61-page doc with a bunch of sub-docs. There you go. It's just so much easier. Like, if I was working with other people, I would definitely do something like that. But I'm not. It's just me. So it's just way easier to just type something down in a list. Like, I don't need, like, super hardcore tracking. Most of it I just know in my head, you know? Wouldn't the cha-ching sound be too much for the whole playthrough? Yeah, that's kind of what I was asking. It might be. Might be to some people. But, what if I can get a clip of New World? some like New World playthrough or something, so you guys know what I'm talking about. New World playthrough. Let's see. I'll just grab one. Let me turn the music off here, because New World, you know, they did some things right, they did some things wrong. But their sound design is amazing.
Well,
okay. Go fight some. Here we go.
or not the Mark of the Beast, but it was something beast.
Might be kind of, the volume might be kind of low on that.
Is named.
You hear that? It's like a whopping kind of. How the hell do you tell a sound designer what you want? You know, how do you? I want a whopping sound. You know.
A little bit of struggling, but I'm just happy.
I remember when New World had 0 NPCs. I played it in early alpha. Okay, can we get to some more combat, please? Here we go. We kill it. No, he's just good. Now, see, the sound plays when you gather as well. And the gathering in New World is so satisfying. Does he do other gathering?
Next up will be New World B-tiering them. I like that.
Oh, here's a good example of... oh, no, he's building a camp. Okay.
Hello?
I want to see him do some gathering.
Coin.
Yeah, that same sound.
And we got a bunch of materials there, too. Okay. Let's do common and uncommon.
See, there you go. There's a sound again.
This. That's all.
They use it. I didn't realize how much it's used. It feels very natural when you're playing the game.
Let's go. Yeah. It's gonna be on what well. We're about our peak of 54,000. Prior to that, it was about 5 to 10.
Yeah, you just kind of get it anytime you get like XP or something like that. Usually a visual indicator with progress bar to next level is quite satisfactory. Yeah, I want that too, for sure. I was even thinking about having an animation to where it's like, you know, the text pops up, because I do have some text that pops up. Maybe you can't see it on YouTube Shorts, but it pops up over the player portrait right here. It says like plus XP. I was thinking about making some like shader or something that like shows like a bunch of particles going into the EXP bar, which again, you can't see on YouTube Shorts. But there is an EXP bar above my ability bar, which is kind of difficult to see. Can I like let me not. Yeah, I can't I can't show it on YouTube Shorts because of my scuff setup. Seems like it's going nice. It's going nice. Yeah, it's not too bad. Well, shouldn't say. Last couple days kind of sucked because of a bug, but we bypassed that. So it should be going nice now. I played a lot of New World, didn't even really notice the sound was every time kill or gather. I didn't either. I knew it was every kill. I didn't know it was like on gather and like, I don't know, apparently on like picking up coins and stuff or stuff like that. Their soundscape is dope at the game. I agree. I was trying to, I was hoping to find some examples of him like doing just general gathering. Maybe I can find a different video. No commentary. Perfect. That's what I want to hear. Okay, that's pretty. Let's go to like, I'm going to skip ahead to like part 8. That's a little bit different sound happened there. Same concept. Is he fishing here? Yeah, he's fishing. Come on, do some gathering. Chop some trees or something. Here we go. Here's some good mining action here. Here we go. The crack and echo of that. And actually, it only echoed the first one. That echo. And it doesn't echo after that. I wonder if that's like a bug or something. So it's almost like they have two different like settings for that sound. Because there's like a different sound that plays when someone mines something off in the distance. It's like this really like broad echoey crack that sounds really fucking cool. It sounds like, you know, someone's mining something from across a giant valley, and it's like bouncing around through the mountains and stuff like that. You remember when I said face reveal when? Oh yeah. And you were attempting to make a joke in doing so? I do remember that attempt at a joke. Gathering was so good in this game, felt good. Yeah, I agree. And that's really what I want to emulate. I think the little progress bar is really nice. And I think this little thing is really nice. I think the sounds when you mine. I want my mining to be a bit more interactive. Like, I want you to have to click for each... I was hoping to actually have you aim on the whatever you're mining. But yeah, that's I want to play that back one more time. But yeah, it's almost like they can add or not add the echoes onto it. Oh, and then there's a little crumble sound whenever you finally get through it. And then the kind of cha-ching. Yeah, dude, there's so many sounds going on. You don't realize it when you're playing. Like, when you're actually trying to, like, emulate the game, you're like, holy shit, there's so much. And here, there's the skinning gathering there. Show me like some, oh, here we go. Here's some, he's doing a whole bunch of gathering right now. This is sick. Okay, let me back that up a little bit here. So I want some hemp like that. That hemp looks fucking sick. And it stands out very well, too. Hi, Prawns. Welcome in. How was your stream? Honestly, I like those sounds, but maybe make the sound settings very customizable for people who find it annoying. I don't know, I mean, would you find this annoying? Oh, he broke his sickle. Definitely need a sound for that, too. And so there's like kind of like a grassy, fluffy sound that plays when you finally finish it. You got this kind of like rummaging sound that's playing. Then you get the success sound. And a little grassy sound as well. And then I think this is the satisfying part of it as well. Like seeing your little progress and like what you got from it show up. I think that's part of it too. I do like the radial level up progress for those skills. I do think that's nice. There's a nice echoey. Yeah. That actually sounds like a different echo than the iron one. The UI was good too. I did like the vibe of the UI. What I hated and what I hate when so many games are doing full screen UIs now. Like, whatever happened to World of Warcraft's, like, you just open a bag and the bag just takes up a small section of the screen. That's satisfying, right? Plays a little song there. That's satisfying, too. Yeah, nice. And also... Well, let me finish my full screen UI thought. Yeah, I don't like the full screen UIs because it blocks you from doing anything else in the game. Like, you can't, in New World, you can't look at your bags while you're running. And that's super annoying, right? Because that's like, a lot of criticisms of New World was that it was like a running simulator. And all the quests that you did, like, it just required you to run from place to place. And you spent, in my opinion, the problem was you spent too much of your time running. Like, the ratio was off. And so what that, like, these, if you look over here, it's probably kind of hard to see, but like the quests are like, what is this? Collect 6 batches of charcoal, which is just like a typical like fetch quest. Like, there's these little like chests in every point of interest, and all you have to do is click on 6 of those. And then I guess he had to do 2 fish traps, and like that goes by really quick. Jacques Leroux, welcome in. They like if you're running to a place and it takes you like 5 minutes to run to that place, and then just only another 5 minutes to complete the quest there, you're spending 50% of your time running around. Like, that's not good. Like, they should have just increased the number here, so you spent more time at the location doing the fun stuff. I think that would have solved a lot of it. But another part of that is full screen UIs. Give the player something to do while they're running, right? Manage your bags, look at your talent trees, look at your look at your character sheet, look at your equipment, plan out your next move. Like, that's what WoW was really good at. Because like when you were in a flight path or when you were just running somewhere, you were probably like looking at the talent tree, like planning your next move, looking at your abilities, reading things. Like there was like a little bit to do there. I think the full screen UIs screw that up. I don't think you should do a full screen UI unless it's like a system menu or like a like a world map or something. Pepperons, yeah, it was fine. Still working on landscape material. Yeah, those landscape materials, man. A lot goes into that. So to make it the walking simulator, should you have mounts in the game? I think there are other ways to do it. I think there's other ways to do it. I think with mounts, there's a lot you have to like design for the mounts as well, right? Because how are mounts going to interact when enemies are around? Can you just bypass all the difficulty in the game because you're so much faster than everything? That's a downside to having mounts. And to me, that's a heavier-handed approach to fixing the issue. Like I said, in my opinion, they should have just they could have kept the same amount of quests, just made the quests themselves longer. They could have done something like give you 10-20% move speed when you're on a path, so you can travel a little bit faster that way. And that way it also doesn't. That's what I'm planning to do in my game, by the way. But that way you don't have to put a mount in the game, and then when you're on a mount, you can just like run through all the enemies because you're just so much faster, right? And WoW, you can get dazed, so that's how they balanced mounts or tried to. But all you had to do is like kind of vaguely run around them, and if you didn't get hit in the back. Well, it was like a 50% chance when you get hit in the back to be dazed, and that would knock you off your mount in WoW. That's one of the ways they tried to make the world still feel alive and dangerous, even though you had mounts. But there's a lot of design decisions when it comes to adding mounts in the game. A lot of work there, I think. And I would focus on the easier things to do, like literally just increase these numbers. Just like double these, literally double these numbers. That's such an easy fix to the issue. Also, the UI thing, like I said, which isn't as easy, but if you designed for that from the beginning, it wouldn't have been any extra work. They had some weird design choices. I didn't really like the gear design either. Yeah, I go back and forth. One thing that they have mounts now. I think they do. They added that in. To that's how they address the issue, and I think probably also they're doing that for MTX reasons, but. Unlock teleports for quest locations. See, I think that is detrimental to the game as well. Because then the world feels smaller. The world isn't dangerous. The world is... You might as well not even have a world at that point, right? And that's how I felt about Diablo 4. Like, they have teleports in, like, literally every square inch of the map. Every single location you can teleport directly to. And it's like, why would I run through the world and experience the world and, encounter any danger when I can just teleport right where I need to go and be there? In Diablo 4, the teleports were like no more than like 2 minutes away from wherever you needed to go. And so that just made that you might as well not even have an open world at that point. Like, why? Just have them teleport to a partitioned level, an instance level or something, because you've literally just made like a hub game. And I remember like the meta of D4 was running these certain like keystone dungeons or something. I forget what they were called, but like you could get this keystone and make a dungeon harder, and it would give you better loot. And anytime you would like grind these keystones or something, I think they were called keystones, I forget. But players were getting annoyed that they had to run to every single one of those. So they literally made it to where when you activated one of these keystones, it just teleported you right in front of the dungeon. And then the complaint was like, okay, I do the teleport straight there, I have to sit through a loading screen, and then I walk into the dungeon, and then I have to sit through another loading screen. So then they changed it to just teleport you directly into the fucking dungeon. And it's just like, god damn, like, I remember the big selling point for Diablo 4 was like, it's an open world, and then they just destroyed it. And they added, like, that game did not need mounts either. They put mounts in Diablo 4. So not only are you already 1 to 2 minutes away from any fucking location on the world map, but you have a mount that you can completely bypass any enemies on. And they tried to do this mechanic where the horse would get frightened, or the mount would get like frightened the more enemies it's around. But it like, I never had that happen to me, unless I literally just stood still on a mount while enemies were attacking me. That never happened to me. So it's like, why you guys did all this work and created such a beautiful world, and then we're just like, yeah, it doesn't fucking matter, teleport wherever you want. And the only time it matters is when you like first play through the game and like start discovering all these like teleport points. Which to me is kind of like, if you have to rely on that in your game, like it's an indication of a bigger problem. You know, if players are complaining about, oh, I can't get places fast enough, then it's like, okay, the world isn't as exciting, right? They don't enjoy running through the world. And to me, the pacing in Diablo 4, I'm now just ranting about Diablo 4, but the pacing, there was so much mismatched pacing in that game. And it's an ARPG where it's always like, you know, fast, give me the loot, you know, and any, like the pacing is so fast and you get so much loot from that game that it's like, I was almost getting annoyed at how filled up my bags were. Like I just stopped picking up some loot sometimes. So I was just so, I would go run out in the world, you know, kill stuff for 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. And then I'd have to teleport back, which again, instant teleport back pretty much. 5 seconds, you're back in the town. I have to go through and sell everything and then go back out while trying to keep in mind, like, oh, do I need this gear? Do I not? Like, it was just too much. And like the pacing was like, and so like when you set that tone of pacing in the game, anything that slows that down is going to feel really bad to the players because it's that mismatch of pacing. And I'm not saying you can't have ebb and flows to game pacing. I think you should. But when you're giving the players such instant gratification, such dopamine from like getting all this fucking loot, you know, getting all this fucking progress. Yeah, of course, when you have to run more than 2 minutes before you can do something, of course that's going to feel bad. And so like you never complained about that in Diablo 2, right? Diablo 2 was much better paced. And that's why I think I haven't seen anyone say that, but I have a feeling that's the subconscious reason why a lot of people like Diablo 2 better, is because the pacing is better. The loot to action, the progress to action ratio is better. What if when you have trade routes implemented, you can hitchhike with the traders? Yeah, that'd sound cool. Teleport is lazy man's way. Yeah, lazy game designer way, I think. And I think I will have some limited teleportation in my game, but that's like a very like in-game kind of thing. Yeah, I have a big open world that no one explores seems dumb. I agree. And that's why flying mounts in Burning Crusade were one of the worst additions to the game, in my opinion. That and instant teleport to dungeon. Those were like the two most harmful things to the game because it destroyed the game world. What do you think? Is it mobile game more profitable than a PC games? On average, I would think so. Yeah, they're more predatory though in nature. They're more predatory. Gave up on Diablo after 3. Yeah. 3 got better. 3 got better. I remember being so excited for Diablo 3 and the launch was just like so shitty. Yeah, what I'm planning to do for teleports in my game, first of all, the only fast travel is going to be fast travel that the player sets up themselves. And so like, I think there's probably a couple different ways. Broke my heart. Yeah. Yeah. But I think I'm going to let the players like, because in WoW you have flight paths, which I think is actually a great way to do fast travel. Because one, it's not instant. 2, it's only to locations you've been to already. And 3, when you're traveling, it gives you it gives you the sense of the world size. Like you are traveling through the world. You're not teleporting. Right? So you actually get to see the world a little bit. You can see some really, like they specifically put things in the game that you can't get to, but that you can only see from flight paths, just to make it cool. What you think, I should create a mobile game or a PC game? Dude, I'm not going to tell you what game you should make. That's a you decision, man. You got to come up with that answer on your own. If you have to ask, you can't afford it. But I like the flight path travel in WoW. I think it's a good rendition of that. And I want to do that in my game, but have it be player created, because the player's going to be creating colonies and stuff. And I want the player to have to find like griffins out in the world and tame them. And then for each griffin you have, or I guess maybe you need 2 griffins. You need 2 griffins to create a flight path from one place to the other, right? And you can decide where those 2 places are. And so, you know, fast travel is almost like a resource. And then you have to like have a griffin handler specifically at each location. So it's 2 colonists, 2 animals, and then you need to keep the animals tamed as well. So like if your griffin master dies, you know, that's a pain in the ass, you know, you got to keep that guy alive. But you can still fast travel. And then I think I'll probably have some sort of like portal system, but probably limit it in the world. And it is a big world, so even going through flight path from one end to the other probably would take quite some time. But I would think that you would want to, you know, when you get to like some in-game portal type building, I think what I want to do is like the higher up it is in the world, the farther it can teleport, the farther it can connect to another portal. And that will incentivize the players to build almost like a mage tower, which I think is like really flavorful. And I'm thinking like maybe minimum 4 in a world, or maximum 4 rather. So you put one like up here in this corner, one down here, you know, one in the middle, one over here, you know, when you get to an in-game type situation. And that way, you know, you can still have the fast travel, but it's limited and it's flavorful. Anyway, should we watch some? I kind of want to watch some more Gathering. Ew, all that squishy. Can we get some tree chopping? He's just killing rabbits now. Chop that tree. Yeah, the thwack is a nice sound as well. And the way the radial progress, like, it shows you how much the tree chop did, I think is nice too. I think that adds a nice sense of progression. Are we gonna have stellar blade type clothing? I'm nowhere close to making that decision. Yeah. What I don't like is how they put this dot on everything that you're in like a radius of. I think that's kind of like, I hate when games point out too much that you can do this thing. Like that should only happen on the thing that you're looking at, right? In my opinion. And you're close enough too. The world also just felt so juicy. The Gathering felt so juicy because you could do everything. And that's something I go back and forth on. Like, I think being able to do every profession means that there's less replayability. So I think what I'll do is like, you can do everything up to a certain level, but then you have to pick your specializations. And maybe you only have like two professions that you can specialize in. To like gathering or crafting things that you can specialize in. And then that allows you to go to like the max level on that thing. And that way, different playthroughs feel different. And then when you're doing multiplayer, you can rely on other people more. And I think another thing that like WoW fucked up on was they didn't make crafting, they made it actually less and less necessary. The last X-Pack I played thoroughly was Battle for Azeroth, and crafting was like a complete waste, you know, side thing, because you just like grind mythic dungeons and be fine. So I never really had to rely on other people in an economic sense, and I think that was bad. And that just kind of like they're just going towards the instant gratification side of things, and of course that. Like, of course it feels nice to the individual player when, oh, I don't need to rely on other people. Yeah, of course that's going to be less friction in the game, but that doesn't mean it makes it a better game. Not a fan of the dot. They need to gate it somehow. It seems like it's only gated on like radius. But I think it should just be the thing that you're looking at. Like there should only be one of those on screen at a time. I want to see some of the like the elemental nodes, because those have some really cool sounds on them.
What do you typically offer for this role?
It's competitive.
I know the World of Warcraft sounds when I hear them. Yep, I'm borrowing them. Oh, here we go. Here's a perfect. I just scrolled right to it, huh? Oh, these ones probably don't have the best sounds, but I love these little elemental plants. These are really nice. It's got a little bit of a sound. The shock bulbs and the fire ones, the fire balloons, sound really cool. I wonder if he comes across any of those. Yeah, I need some nice tree chopping sounds and animations. Yeah, I'm not seeing any of the elemental ones. You're doing full independent game developer? I have a job. So this is just hobby programming before work. I will have to go to work in a couple hours. Another thing I hate about New World is the weapon swapping. It just felt so clunky, and there's no synergy between weapons, so it was literally just like pick one weapon, use all the abilities, swap to your next weapon. Another life bloom, I think. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Is that it? Yeah, here we go. Check this out. Oh, yeah, the Dragon Glory. These ones sound fucking sick. And having rare drops in the resources was fun. You like that? They were mostly just for like increasing crafting yields, right? That's what they're used for. Listen to that. That's such a cool sound. And it lines up with the VFX too. That's so nice. And it kind of creates a sound when it pops. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna go with the crafting, if I'm gonna do something like that or not. Because they really leaned into the RNG with crafting. And I will say the crafting did feel a little overwhelming at first because of that, because I just didn't know when I should use those things, you know? I didn't know when I should use those things. The rare stuff, and like, there was all these like optional things. It's like, oh, you could use any one of these things. It's like, well, which one should I use? I don't know what they're all for. It was difficult to figure out which thing I should use. But in like World of Warcraft, at least in vanilla, like every crafting recipe was very specific. So there was no question as to what you should use or what you need, right? You could look at each recipe and figure out pretty quickly what you should use your stuff on, which I do appreciate. And it makes it feel more accessible. Oh, these ones have a cool sound too. What about old school RuneScape mining and wood cutting animations? Not sure those would fit. Nice and watery. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds so nice. Then there's like the scorch stones and stuff too. What is this one? I thought I saw something in that thing. Oh, he's probably just fighting. I'm getting carried away. I should be doing work. Should be actually doing things. Okay, yeah, that's enough talking about sound. Let's get back to work. Yeah, so let's start isolating some of these scenarios that I want to keep track of. I have some of them written down here somewhere, I think. Okay, here, yeah. I should try to isolate this scenario, falling through ground scenario too. How'd you fix the subtree bug? I didn't. I just stopped using the subtree for now. Is it actual gameplay? This is, yeah. Yeah, the new world was not. So yeah, we're just bypassing the state tree issue for now. Yeah, a little bit of gameplay, procedural world as well. So there's so far what's rendered in the procedural part of it. Here's the world map. So we're only rendering like a very small amount here. But yeah, I need to do some kind of error scenario capturing here. And let me clean up my workspace here. How's it going? It's going good. How are you? Yeah. It's just like, I'll just do like attempt to fix state tree dead transition crash. Unsuccessful. Commit and push that. Let's get a clean slate here. Is it like Minecraft, like survival? It definitely has a little bit of that, yeah. It's going to be an RPG Colony Sim Roguelite. Nice documentation. This is copied from, I had to copy these from the internal one. So I'm wrapping one of their classes and providing some of my own functionality on it to work with my entity system, my ECS system I built. But yeah, the game's going to be like an RPG Colony Sim Roguelite combo. So it'll be you know, it's Minecraft in the procedural world part of it. But there's going to be a little bit more RPG stuff built on top of that. But yeah, I built this ECS system that should be working quite nicely, although there are some error scenarios that we need to handle. So I think where we'll want to start with that, let's close out some of these. Some of these pinned. Let's start out at velocity processor, because that's going to be what we use to move the entities. Thinkerado, what's up? Welcome in. Let's see here. Let's apply fall down. Yeah. Vlog entity falling. I would like to maybe log an error frame here or something if they're falling too much. I don't know. It's so hard to tell when they would fall through the ground. But I guess the easier one to capture would be if the delta is too much. And actually, pausing the game probably fucks this up with how I'm currently doing it. Because I'm just gonna... What do I do at the end here? Just get world, get time seconds. Is stopped when the game pauses. And so get delta seconds. What do I do? Get world, get time seconds. Okay, so I guess that does handle pausing. But like, what would be a large delta, right? I guess there's a maybe a delta time. I should probably add like a my entity subsystem log, error log or something. Copy this and do like an error. Vlog entity. Yeah, so there's a function I built to do visual logs for my entity system, handling background threading and stuff like that. So maybe there's also a distance diff that I need to check as well. Avatar data, and avatar data controls movement, which I don't think I have turned on for anything. Well, no, I do have the movement component. Yeah, I remade the movement component. So that can happen as well, but then we're using that. Okay. So maybe I'll need to log it there as well. Although I think the actors are probably a bit more stable than the entities. And so let's get, should be F vector, like difference. And then like if difference size squared is greater than like F math square. Like what's too much to move in one frame? In one like entity frame, you know? Not like an actual frame, but like in between entity processes. What's too much to move? I would think if I move more than like 100, maybe. Or maybe that's too low. I guess we can let's start low. Let's do like 100. If I move 100 units too much in a frame, let's do like an error log and maybe even breakpoint on it so I can inspect it. Vlog entity, we'll call it error here. Procedural log, so this needs to be error probably. Category name verbosity. Of course I can't, what are my options there? I do see warning. So I imagine error is one of them. And I know when you log an error and the vlogger shows up as red, so I can actually, even if I don't breakpoint on it, I can still see it if I have the vlogger running. Vlog entity error. Entity, and then I'm gonna pass in I guess just the text here. Entity moved too much. That's gonna show up as an error, and I would love to be able to log the strings. Never show up in my vlogger, well, which is super annoying. I guess the difference, I guess let's just do let's do a distance rather than a difference. That's probably better. Current location, new location. Plug in distance. %f distance, and then I probably want to log the delta too. Delta, which is a float as well. So distance and delta seconds. And I don't, can this be const? Make sure I don't, that shouldn't change. Yeah. Thing with delta seconds. Okay. Okay, so we log that. And I don't know, if I breakpoint here, what am I gonna see? I don't know. We'll keep the breakpoint there just for funsies. Just for funsies. And that's like kind of one scenario. There's many more. There's another one where they start and end off the nav mesh. Start or end, I should say. And I want to capture those scenarios. Yesterday, I lied, okay? The thing I said I wasn't to sample points, it was to sample tiles. I gave up on using A star, so each tile had its surface type into it. Well, I vaguely remember what you said yesterday. But it sounds like you're creating your own nav mesh. Or your own pathfinding. One of the two. Yeah, here's one scenario that we want to capture. What's another one? I need to handle scenarios. Another one is where the delta moves it past its target. So move entity, move to processor. So this kind of works in tandem with the velocity processor, but this is like the input, like the AI input is this move to processor, which sets a velocity, and then the velocity processor processes that. But this I ended up having to do a separate delta time for this subsystem because they don't run in lockstep. They can run at different times, and maybe to save on data, I can make them run in lockstep, and then I'll only need one delta time. But that kind of seems like a premature optimization at this point. So that's something we may need. Let's do entity, what is it, find path or something? Yeah, entity find path. That's going to be another important one. Let's close trace utils for now. So I want to somehow capture, oh god, there's so much extra stuff here. We don't need any of that. Okay. But I want to figure out when the start and end points are not on the nav mesh. Because I have seen that happen, and I wish I wrote down more about it. Handle scenarios where start point is not on nav. Handle large deltas past the move to location. So handle large deltas and then handle deltas past the move to target location. Those are two different things. These are all going to be like kind of hard issues to pin down. But at the very least, I want to capture them. Maybe not fix them yet, but just capture them. SPX 275, hello. SPX is way past 275 by now. It's an old name. Okay. I think handling the scenarios that aren't on the nav mesh is an easier one to nail down. For now. It's nice that the game has been running and hasn't crashed yet. So we're getting more stable. Things are getting more stable. Let me see here. Find path. Yeah, we're just getting the start location is the entity location. I wonder if I should have... Yeah, I should log if this is not on. I should log if this is not on the nav mesh when we start. Let me look at the pathfinding settings I have. Nav agent properties, anything interesting on there? Nav walking search height scale. Interesting. Okay. I confused logic I did on it with the result I had with the other test that I didn't even recall I had. Probably because I did it with ChatGPT, which was ray tracing and saving the binary cells and generate dynamic mesh using marching squares. You're doing some procedural generation as well. Cool. Indeed, a nav mesh in pathfinding. I was willing to ask you. Imagine that I can get the same result with PCG sampled points, even if I had to use multiple. But would it be optimal in your opinion? What's your specific question? You're talking about pathfinding and nav mesh, and then you said sampling points in PCG. Are you asking if you should use PCG sampled points to build a nav mesh and do pathfinding? Or whether or not you can what got going on, dude? We're working on a video game. We're doing some kind of error handling for our ECS system. We're trying to. And there's the world. I need to differ walls, ceilings, and floor. Yeah, can you type out like your specific question? Because I'm a little confused trying to follow all of what you said. If you're trying to build a nav mesh out of PCG points, that sounds like a bad idea. PCG does take a while to run. So if that's what you're, or if you're asking maybe using PCG sampled points to build a dynamic mesh. I am planning on investigating that a little bit for procedural terrain modifications. So I think I can actually, I kind of like theory crafted a way to like, because I'm going to have procedural points of interest spawned into the world. And some of them will just sit on top of whatever the landscape is, you know? But other ones I want to actually be able to change the landscape wherever they're spawning. Like think about like spawning like a quarry or like a specific cave or something. And I think you could, if you generated a grid that was the same resolution as your terrain. There are nodes in PCG now to create dynamic mesh chunks. Or just dynamic mesh components from points. And so I think you could, and then I would need to like blend those into the terrain. I would need to blend those into the terrain. You thought that was with the nav mesh? Oh, this is just the built-in nav mesh. That's just the built-in nav mesh. Making video games as well? Nice. But yeah, it looks like I don't have like a whole lot of options here. Although I do have a pathfinding type. Normal and hierarchical, which I don't, that doesn't really mean anything for, yeah, I should probably project the point in the find path and see if that fails or not. F vector projected start location, and then I think I nav system, which I don't have in here. Right, I just took it out. I just took it out of this class. Okay, nav system. And dirty air. What can I do here? Is the project point to navigation? Okay. Point out location. Okay. So we need to do this location as the input. Projected start location as the output. Extent agent properties. I guess I need to get the fucking agent properties anyway, the nav properties. Maybe I should fail the find path for entity. Which language is this? This is Unreal Engine C++. Kind of a specific flavor of C++. Yeah, maybe this should fail. So I'm kind of like yeah, let's go back here. Let's go back. Undo all that. Let's put this in here. Let me find out where this is used, because I know I did this for environment query task. Okay. Yeah, we'll just add some more to the find path query here. So nav system, nav properties, nav data. Wait, what can I do with nav data? What's on you? Batch project points. Ooh, that's a fun one. Calc path cost, length. Create path instance. Draw debug path. Oh, fun. Find and move along surface. Tries to move current nav location towards target constrained to navigable area faster than project point to nav mesh. How's it different? Hello, welcome in everyone. Welcome in. We just have the find path, which is what I just used. Finish bash query. Oh boy, there's a lot of functions here. Yeah, I think let's just do project point for now. Wait, what is different between project point to navigation? Oh, it internally does. Okay. It internally does that already. Okay, so start. We're gonna project that to the nav location, extent, NB. Probably just default, which is f vector 0 vector. And then nav properties. And then f nav agent so it needs to be a pointer. Make it a pointer. Oh, and I think maybe argument types. V vector double. F nav agent properties. Do you not like the 0 vector? Is that what you're mad at? No. What's the final one? Query filter, which I don't think we need. What are you mad at? Out location is an F nav location. Right. Okay. Okay, so projected start location. Dot, what's on here? No, we have node ref, which has what? It has like nothing on it. What is node ref? It's just it's a uint, okay. Location. Okay, so I guess this returns a bool for like whether or not that was successful. Start projection success. And so if we don't have that, let's do a vlog error. And we should probably make that one an error too. Oh my god, I can't spell. There we go. So pathfinding could not project start location. Let's actually add another one for vlog entity sphere. Entity, and then we'll do the start location. What should radius be? Let's just make it the radius of the agent. F color red, because red mean bad. And we don't need any text, so we'll just do empty text there. A bad nav projection. Call it start projection. So I guess I also need to, I'm pretty sure I've seen some cases where the endpoint on a path has been not on the nav mesh as well. So let's do this. Pathfinding result. Return pathfinding results. We're just gonna do some error handling here as well. Although this can probably, yeah, we'll do it here. We'll do it here. Hello everyone on YouTube Shorts. Welcome in. Welcome in. So here we'll go pathfinding result dot path. This is a pointer. Get path points. Get path point location at index. Yeah, I guess we can just get path points. Auto path points. Can I just do last? I'll say if path points dot num greater than 0. Last point dot location. So I guess we'll want to do something similar here. So just copy that. Instead do end. But I guess I need to, well, first I need to project this again. Or we're just going to project both start and end. That seems like it could be kind of expensive. How much progress did you make? Yes. Okay, let's just do this for now. It's probably too expensive, but it'll help us narrow down these scenarios at first. We'll just copy that. We'll call it end projection success. If we cannot do end projection success. Yes. Sorry, I didn't know how to answer that. Like, how do you quantify that? You know what I mean? How do you quantify how much progress you've made? And towards what? If we're not successful in the end projection, could not project end location, bad end projection. Welcome back though, Loki. The Asgard himself. Kirito, welcome in. Hello. Kirito. So yeah, probably a little more expensive than what we need, but it will at least help us narrow down a couple of these scenarios. So we've got these two down. I've handled large deltas. This one, that's like I don't really need to know when that happens for now. Although it would be nice to know. Yes, all your asses are safe because Loki Asgard is here. This one's I'm gonna need to come up with some logic here. You need to come up with some logic for like how much lack of movement over what time compared to the ratio of how much he's supposed to be moving can I use to consider a stuck. And also, I don't know. I guess I could be like, if I'm falling and then do a ray cast up, then I can say I'm falling through the ground, although that's not really reliable at all. I guess I could write some code for this right now real quick too, just to isolate the scenario. What exactly you're doing? Just sort of, we're doing some Unreal Engine game development. Here's my world. It's a procedural, runtime procedural generated world. So kind of like, you know, something like Minecraft, but you know, a little bit higher fidelity than Minecraft. But here's the world map. And why is my... Hang on, let me reload my script, my Zoom script here. Okay, that's a lot better. What language is it? It's Unreal Engine, so that'll be C++. C++. Okay, yeah. For some reason, the script doesn't always load properly. But here's the world map. Each pixel on here is like a terrain chunk. And what we're doing specifically for the game dev is just trying to isolate some scenarios where errors happen. Because I have this ECS system I built to like run thousands and thousands and thousands of NPCs all over the world. And that means that they're just like little bits of data. That they're just little bits of data moving around when they're way off in the distance. You know, when I can't see them. Like, the world's very big, so I'm only rendering like this much. And like you might have like an entire colony, you know, up somewhere over here that I need to have running in background threads and stuff. And there's some errors happening. And they're not like errors that like would crash the program or anything. These are the kinds of errors where like, you know, the entity will just fall through the ground, you know, not good. The entity will get stuck because he's not on the nav mesh, you know. Or you know, he's trying to navigate to some place that's not on the nav mesh. So I'm trying to isolate those scenarios so that I can inspect them further and come up with a good solution. Okay, but I think I should put some breakpoints on these scenarios. So those two, we have that breakpoint too. For when we move too much in a single frame. Now I'm wondering if this is going to happen like initially as well. But let's go ahead and rebuild because we got a few of these in here. Well, no, I wanted to write one more. Which is when I've moved too far. Which actually might be kind of hard to write. Yeah, that one's going to be actually kind of hard to write. So let's just start with these ones for now. Let's rebuild. Is this game you're making? It is. It is. It's so cool, mate. Thank you. Can we build games with Java? Yeah, Minecraft's written in Java. You have to make your own engine though. I don't think there's any commercial engines built in Java. I don't think you would use Spring Boot to make it the game though. But yeah, you can make a game engine in any language you want. But that's a lot of work. If you wanted to make a game, I would encourage you to use an existing game engine. Maybe a max negative threshold for teleporting you up to the ground again if you're falling off the world. Is that a possibility? Yeah, for sure. The hard part is actually isolating the scenario though. Like, how do I know when to do that? Like, I'm already using my velocity processor to apply gravity and settle them back on the ground because they don't have collision or gravity or physics or anything. So I have to, on the background thread, do a line trace down with my own, because they don't have collision. My terrain's not always going to have collision either. I have to write my own, you know, collision system, essentially, to put them back down on the ground. There's gravity right there. So I am trying to settle them back on the ground, but I have a feeling that them falling to the ground has something to do with too large of a move delta, which is what I'm trying to isolate here. So we'll see. We're going to try and come up with some correlations here. I use Copilot, yep. Would you consider using AI code in your code development? Yeah, I use Copilot. The autocompletes are nice, yeah. What do you do for a living? I'm a software engineer. Do you have a video for developing a game for beginner? No, I don't, but there are plenty of those on YouTube that would that are much better than what I could do. Game engines like Unity works, yeah. Can you tell me the roadmap? Buddy, I can't tell you your own roadmap. You have to come up with that. I can't do that for you. You can't use the kill Z. I mean, I should have one of those. That's like the ultimate, the final solution, even. That's the ultimate solution, would be to just kill them when they get too far down, but I want them to not fall to begin with. So that's what we're gonna try and fix first. Will this game be free? I am so far away from making that decision. I am so far away from that. What's the name of the future completed game, or is it already existing? It is not existing. The name right now is just my project. What is your opinion on Quaternions? They're devil worship and you can't convince me otherwise. Should make a petition to remove them from the universe. Yeah, I would love that. And then we'll just be in gimbal lock hell. They're a necessary evil, unfortunately. Can you make my game? Thanks. Yeah, exactly. Hasty wasty. Yeah. Can you tell me how to do it and also come up with my scope and what I should do, what kind of game I should make? Okay, so how do I want to test this? Do I want... Let's just boot up with Visual Logger running, I suppose. So this is going to be kind of laggy. Turn off the nav awk tree. We don't want that. Navigation can probably... It turned off too. Is it possible to learn coding on one's own? Yep, I'm entirely self-taught. I don't have a college degree or anything. Yeah, I have never paid for any of the knowledge that I have, so it is entirely possible. It's all free online. So yeah, that's 100% possible. Your cat's attacking you? Cats do that though. While you create him your roadmap in game, can you make me some cereals? Sorry, I'm a game dev. I know nothing about cereal. Okay, what do we got here? So we immediately hit the start location not being on the nav mesh. Yeah, there are tons of ways to start programming. One of which is doing HTML and CSS. You could start just trying to learn Java or Python or JavaScript. Kind of depends on what kind of programming you want to do. And I would encourage you to look into just programming in general and what you can do. You know, do you want to do web dev, mobile development, game development, back-end stuff, data engineering? You want to do like AI stuff? You know, look into what programming languages are good for those things. And start there. Okay. So what was the actual, like, input start location? Excuse me. I have a 7700X and a 3080 Ti, 64 gigs RAM. Okay, so I guess we should see this start location pop up in the vlogger. I guess I want to just check if there's anything that's like weird or anything. Yeah, I mean, I can't really tell where that transform is. Top of me. They're the exact same, actually. The target location and start location are the exact same. Okay, interesting. So, okay, we're here again. Wait, which entity is this for? 24. Entity 24. Entity 23. We pause. Okay, we've paused. Let's look at entity 23 and also 24. Yeah, here's our error. I love that it shows up as red. That makes it very easy to look through. Okay, where is this happening? Are you stuck inside? Okay, let's look at the nav mesh here. Yeah, he got spawned inside a fucking rock where there was no nav mesh. What shitty luck. What shitty luck. That's funny. Have you heard about Firebase by Google and that other one VS Code or something? I mean, at Google we have our own internal one that we use called Cider. Okay, so I guess as a part of the spawn, let's put that over there. As a part of the spawn projection is something that I want to track down. Filter invalid spawn points. Yeah. So here I should make sure that this spawn location is on the nav mesh as well. Don't I project it to a nav mesh though in PCG, or am I misremembering that? Can I do that? I don't. Projection and yeah, I guess there is no projected nav mesh in there, and that's fine. We'll just need to project them ourselves. I think first. Spawn info, spawn transform, get location. So I guess we need to project this, right? Nav system. Okay, yeah, query extent. Let's put that up there too. Query extent's up there. So I'm just going to copy this invocation and not delete it. Project point to nav mesh. Start location. F nav location. Call this projected spawn location. Query extent. I suppose nav agent props could be useful here. Although I don't have that information, so we'll just leave that as default. We'll just leave that as default. So if we don't have a success, this is invalid. And what do I do there? B is valid. I guess we could just skip the rest of it and we leave it invalid. So we go spawn info dot b is valid equals it should already be false. It should already be false, but just continue, I guess. And then I suppose I can just put this just inline that because I don't actually need. Okay, but if it is valid, I think we need to adjust the spawn location here. Can this return a ref? I'm gonna guess no. Yeah, can't. Okay. So then what we'll want to do, I guess we will, I need to set both, I guess. So spawn info, we'll adjust the point, I guess, a little bit. Spawn transform dot set location, projected spawn location. Does that return? That would be nice if it did. No, it doesn't. Okay. Now this, actually, we don't do spawn location anymore. We do projected spawn location is the proper spawn point. Okay. And then let's just get rid of that variable altogether, just to make sure. Just to make sure I'm not using that anywhere I shouldn't be. Now this line is like super long, and I don't like that. So you're going back out into a variable, sorry. Projection success. Let's new line that. And I'll just say invalid point. It's not on a nav mesh, so we shouldn't spawn. And I guess I could just find the closest point if it's invalid, but I don't know. We can just get rid of it for now. Because 250 by 250 by 250, that should be a big enough extent to handle these scenarios. Oh, spawn location there. I missed one. So we want to do projected spawn location there too. And there. Okay, so that helps solve that problem that we found there. Let's look into some other ones. Let me catch up with chat a bit here. Oh, you like my little button guy? Yeah, he's fun. He's fun. I like the control. The control Z is the... oh god, what have I done? Redo whatever I just did. I mean, not click on the game. Yeah, the control Z button I find to be the most insightful. Like how many oopsie fucksies have I done today? You making a game like Manor Lords? I suppose in some ways it'll be similar. More so RPG than Manor Lords. But I suppose the Colony Sim side of things might be similar. Why not using Blueprint? Why not using C++? When did you start coding? When I was 16, so about 14 years ago. Did you start on your own? I did. I'm just so willing to dive into the coding world. Do it. Go open up a tab, go into Google, and type in how to start coding. Learned some HTML and CSS and created some shits, and it felt so great. You created some shits, huh? Okay. I bet that did feel good. But eventually got lost. You gotta keep going. You're gonna feel like that a lot when you're learning programming. You're gonna feel like that a lot. So you need to make friends with that feeling. And you need to embrace it. And you need to figure out how to get yourself out of that feeling. It's part of it. You gotta ask the right questions. Figure out how to ask the right questions. Google is your friend. Okay, so that was one such error. Yeah, this guy is going to continuously fail. What about this other guy? He is also not on the nav mesh either. Yeah, so we're picking some points not on the nav mesh. Yeah, so those two guys are not on the nav mesh, so this is good. That fix we did should work for many of these guys. So I'm going to go ahead, and I hope that's deterministic. Let's stop here. Okay, the nav mesh didn't like that. The detour nav mesh query did not like that. I guess there was probably one in progress when I stopped that. The rebuild, we're gonna literally just redo that and see if we've avoided those scenarios now. But that was good. That was a good little test there. We still have the breakpoints, 1, 2, yeah. So let's we'll keep generic utils up here as well. I really need to split this class out. Generic utils is now 1,500 lines long. In case you missed it, Copilot Pro, I just got an email. Copilot Pro users could now access the preview of GitHub Copilot Coding Agent. I think I've been using that. Right? I mean, isn't that, that's this thing, right? Yeah, I've used that a little bit. When will you create big ass anime girls? I think you're in the wrong stream, my dude. I know look, Mr. Asgard. Can I call you Asgard? This is not a Coomer stream. This is not a goon stream. This is a game dev stream. So our internal one we have, like, it just got out of preview as well. and it can like run tests for you, and you can literally tell it to like, hey, go implement this functionality, or like go refactor this and add tests, and you know, keep going until the test pass or the build runs successfully. And it'll keep trying, and it'll write tests and make them pass and stuff, which is kind of cool. Okay, so we're here already for entity 144, and then we got here as well. Oh my god, what entity was that for? 71, 95, 71, 95. Okay, what's the delta seconds on here? Not very high. They seem to be falling. Are they falling? Where's the transform data? They are falling. I think they're falling through the world. Do some fan service, man. Is fan service just ooga booga boobies? Is that what it is now? Especially when your code base gets very large, how do you manage your code, folder structure, or any certain pattern in coding you follow? I don't really like the MVC pattern. I work in web dev mostly. I'm a full stack engineer, but for coding patterns, I typically like Redux, and we use Angular Dart at work, but we re-implemented Redux, like the React library, in Angular Dart, and it worked, and it's so much better than our old code base, which was MVC architecture. Yeah, definitely separate your business logic from your presentational stuff. But I don't know. I don't have like a particular pattern that I follow or structure. I just try to think about what makes the most sense. I think locality of behavior is the most important thing to me to consider, which is like, you don't want spooky action at a distance. So that's very anti dependency injection. That's very anti like abstraction and like interfaces and stuff like that. Although I do use interfaces plenty in this game, in this code base. But I try to do that as little as possible, and that just to me makes the code more readable and understandable. And I think that's probably the most important part. And you have to remember that code is read more than it is written. So even if a particular, you know, a pattern of coding might take you longer to write, if it makes it easier for you to understand in the future, or easier for your coworkers to understand, it's worth it. Don't say that. I just started learning MVC. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't learn it. I mean, I've just kind of come across it in code bases. I haven't like tried to learn it. I mean, I don't think you really need to just like specifically learn it, but more so it's just a concept, right? You know, you have a model layer, view layer, control layer, and everything should fit within one of those three boxes, you know. But it really just depends on, you know, making a game versus doing web dev is quite a bit different, and you'll need different architectures and different frameworks for that. You work as a suite? I do. Okay, so these guys are falling a lot. But let's go ahead and skip that breakpoint just so I can get into the game. I suppose these might be the same entities. No, 148, that's a different guy. Okay, let's pause. Where am I? Oh, there I am. Okay. So let's, oh, the vlogger wasn't fucking started. Okay, hang on. Stop. Start. Let's actually get rid of the breakpoints for now, and we'll just focus on the vlogger for isolating these scenarios. Okay, let's pause. Nav mesh is just going burr. Let's turn that off. Hang on. Where's is that it? Okay. Dynamic chunk mesh. Oh yeah, turn off the nav awk tree too. Where's that one? Yeah, turn that off. Okay. I see no failures, actually. No failures yet. Easy for you, not for me. Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. And also, I'm not like classically trained. I don't have a college degree or anything, so I've just kind of learned as I go. So I have a bit different perspective of some other engineers who have, you know, been Swedes for as long as I have. I wish I knew the importance of a clean code logic back there. Back where? Also, all my projects have variables and functions named as AAAA, new stuff. That one, but new. Okay, well, yeah, come up with... Okay, so I guess one concept you should try to follow is actually, like, write comments as little as possible, which sounds counterintuitive. And I'm not saying you should never write comments. But you should... What that means is, like, you shouldn't have to write comments because the code should be readable and it should be understandable by itself. Now, not every function or variable can be that way, so you will need to add function or comments to the functions and stuff. But yeah, naming things is a big part of that. You know, prefer names that do a good job of explaining what they're for versus names that are short to type, right? When you got first job, and how old were you at the time? I got my first job when I was about 21, right after I had dropped out of college. And I had been writing code. I'd been trying to teach myself how to write code since I was like 16. Well, actually, I had a small business where I did some web dev for some small businesses in the area. So I had gotten paid for writing code before that, but it wasn't an actual job. They were just like little gigs that I found. You know, I was just making like shitty little websites basically. So if you include that, it would be 18. It would be 18 when I first got money to write code. It would be 18. But when I actually became a software engineer, it would be like 21. Also, the amount of new folders is abysmal. Yeah. Did you watch Sword Art Online? No, I did not. How old are you now? I'm 30. Don't make me say that again. I am now 30. Okay, so no one's failed yet. Okay, we got one. And so this may have been related to the pausing, actually. Ladies and gentlemen, we got one. Okay, so here is something. Yeah, you're not on the nav. You should have gotten filtered out. Why didn't you get filtered out? Why didn't you get filtered out? You probably should have as well. I see no nav mesh there. Nor there. Why did you all not get filtered out, huh? What is the best way to use Redux in a Next.js project? I mean, what's the question? Like, what do you not understand how to use Redux? I mean, there's only kind of one way to use it, right? Let me think here. Why did that not get filtered out? They should have, right? Because this starts as false. Yes. Yes. Should I do a log on this? I don't know what I would vlog here though. Well, I guess I do have the vlogs here. Did I turn them off? No, I do have them here. But it's on a terrain chunk. Okay, so like what terrain chunk is this? Right? Yeah, just let's go back to that first one. This one? No, the first one. This guy. Okay, what terrain chunk are you? Your terrain chunk 1.4. So there should be a terrain chunk 1.4 in here somewhere. Here we go. Why aren't you showing me I only see 1 point. 140. I only see 1 point there. Okay, so why did that other point get through, huh? That was supposed to be like filtered out. Right? I mean, let me look at this. God, this is a big function. That's us prepping, that's me prepping the spawn infos. And then after that, what do we do? Hang on. Then we spawn mobs after that. Oh, do I not like... Oh, I still spawn them on invalid ones. Oh, okay. I just never implemented that. Okay, not sure what the hell I was doing there. Spawn info, PCG spawn info. There you go. Okay, let's go ahead and rebuild that. We'll go ahead and rebuild that. Why are you trying to switch career to game dev? I'm not. And is it worth the salary? It's not, which is why I'm not trying to switch. Yeah. I am just trying to work on this game as a hobby. Because it's fun, and I really enjoy it. Yeah, the game dev industry. And that's why I'm not worried about like the scope of this game. Like the scope is quite large, and I know a lot of people would advise you if you're trying to get if your goal is to get into the games industry, or you know, release a game or work on games or something like that, then you know the advice is always start small with a small idea, small in scope. One, I've been writing code for a long time, so I think I can handle a larger scope, but I'm also not trying to get into the games industry or anything, because it's not worth it. For me, at least. For me. What language is that? That was C++. Unreal Engine C++. Turn off the Octree stuff. Okay. We got any bad actors yet? No, not yet. No bad boys yet. No reds. We love that. Oh, if you click on the bar, it pauses the game. So no one... Okay, let me throw the breakpoints back in here now. I think a lot of it was just them spawning in shitty locations. Right? And then where was my other one? The velocity processor? Yeah, put that there. So yeah, we're doing great. Oh, okay, we got one now. Delta time... Should probably log if they were falling or not, but I can see that. I can see that in the vlogger. Do you recommend people that just graduated from computer science to become sweet? I mean, yeah, if you put all the work in already, I don't see why not. It is hard to do that. God, he moved 50,000 in one frame. Jesus Christ. What are you doing? He's not even falling. What is this guy doing? What entity is this? 4. It seemed to be just one frame. Okay, we do have a few boo-boos here. What's this guy? He moved too much. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Wait, let me zoom out and see if... Do we have any more? Or is it just those two? Oh, we got one here too. Yeah, they moved too much. guys are moving too much. Yeah, same for that one, I suppose. God, they're moving 12,000 schmeckles in a frame. That's an entire terrain chunk. Oh, this guy's falling. That guy fell through the world. How many years will it take to complete? That's not really an answer I can know. That's like an entire job to come up with that. Okay, you were just walking around on the nav mesh. You were just walking around. And you moved 13,000? That doesn't look like 13,000. You know, I might turn off PCG. Yeah, you got fucked up. I can see that. You're like trying to move. Like he's coming here and then he just like sidesteps for some reason. I guess I'll just open his velocity and see what we're working with here. Your speed and stuff are fine. I don't know why your velocity got changed there. Your speed didn't change at all. Your direction. I have the directional arrows logged here. You are just like moving the right way and everything. Set on ground. Set on ground. Yeah, I mean, we're just... Forget what the arrows represent, but those are fine. I don't know why... Why did that change? So bad. All the arrows are fine. With the visual logger, how are you replaying the positions in the editor? Is that some sort of structure logging in the visual logger? Yeah, so there's all these like UE log, like all these different macros. So you can do like, you can log a location, a line segment, like a sphere. And specifically this like pointer arrow thing, this is like a special one. And usually I think that is on the owner position. So whatever you pass in as the owner to the vlog is where that goes. I have overridden that. Let me pull up like entity transform data. You can override like locations and stuff here. So all that extra data that you're seeing down here, you can, like, this is all my entity data. And you can override that with this category. And so I have overridden the location as well of that pointer thing. I forget where I do that at, actually. Where do I do that at? I think it's on the proxy actor because that's the owner. If I'm not mistaken. Is that the owner? Grab debug snapshot. Yeah, so here, this is like, if you're using like an actor as an owner of those logs, which I think you have to, the snapshot location here is what changes that, like, what changes this guy right here. This one's like a special one. All the other ones are ones that I added on the different logs and stuff. Very nice. Yeah, it's like pretty crucial for debugging the entity system. Pretty crucial, yeah. I'm sorry to bring this, but there is a major layoff in IT jobs. Yeah. Do you agree with that, or maybe you didn't feel that in your country? Yeah, I mean, that's happening all over the place. It's rough out there for software engineering jobs. I mean, you're asking if I agree with that people should be laid off? Of course not. I think it's just short-sighted corporate profits. And honestly, it has to do with the worldwide economic situation. I don't know how much of it is actually from AI or not. You know, it's kind of hard to tell because I think we're still in the economic downturn after the COVID logistics system, I think we're still recovering from. Interest rates have increased here in the US, which means the cheap money is no longer there. The interest rates used to be like as low as 3%, which essentially means you can borrow as much money as you want. If you know that you can get more than 3% profit out of a software engineer, which you can, you can very easily, especially for the larger companies. That's a very easy return to make. So you can borrow as much money as you want because you know you can make more than 3% on average from every software engineer. And what a lot of companies did with that was they just hired out their ass, man. That's how I got hired. My most recent position was during like the hiring spree of COVID, because the money was really cheap, right? Money was cheap, so they could borrow money, hire a bunch of people, and they overhired. So when we started seeing the economic downturn after COVID, then and interest rates paired with interest rates increasing, that means the money isn't as cheap anymore, right? And so that's why that's a big, I think that's probably, even if AI has something to do with it, that is the bigger part for sure. Just the economic situation and the overhiring. I think a lot of companies overhired. Do you work remote? I do. Yes. Type of game you're making? It's going to be an RPG Colony Sim Roguelite with procedural terrain. So here's the world. It's all procedural, spawned at runtime and stuff. And here's the map. Here's the world map. And I'm hoping to make the world online at all times, like have all the NPCs running and stuff like that. And as a part of that, I made an ECS system, my own ECS system, rather than using mass. And I'm trying to do just some debugging on that. This guy moved a lot in one frame. Your speed was only 175. Yeah, and so you moved 50,000? Oh yeah, I'm logging the squared version of it. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not do that. I did 100, and let's stick with that. We'll run live coding there. Looks classy. Thanks, man. I like your dedication. Thank you. That's why tech winter are happening, right? Yeah, I think so, for the most part. Now, you know, how much is AI going to affect that? You know, probably more and more, but I think that just means the job changes. You know, when the computer came out, you know, or the calculator came out, did the mathematicians get laid off? I mean, maybe a little bit, but like the job changed, right? And I think the same will happen with software engineering. Like you will do less and less actual coding and more architecting. But right now, I mean, the tools are just not there yet. I mean, I've seen some people get some pretty big performance improvements using AI. I would say my performance improvement from using AI, I mean, depends on what I'm doing, but honestly, probably only like 20% performance boost. And I think like it's gonna sound rude, but like the worse of a dev you are, or maybe like you haven't been doing programming for as long, AI is going to be more of a boost to you than it is like a senior dev who's been writing code for over 10 years and stuff. Yeah, I've seen some claims internally in my company that are a little difficult to believe. And we have this vibe coding week going on right now, which has been kind of frustrating. I've just been arguing with AI all week, and it has not been fun. You know, I'll try to like vibe code, and then it of course just doesn't do the right thing or messes up somewhere, and then I try to get it to fix itself. And I just sit there kind of getting it to try and do the right thing, where it's like, I could have just written this faster to begin with. I love the autocompletes and stuff. That is really nice. Oh god, are we frozen? Most of the AI is letting it write boilerplate crap and stuff you know, but too lazy to type out. Yeah, that's where I find the biggest benefit. For Unreal Engine stuff, I find it really beneficial for writing like general algorithm. Like the more general the thing is that you're trying to write, which includes boilerplate, I think the more helpful it is. Like I'm trying to implement specific features and stuff, and it's very hard to get it to do that correctly. But you know, a lot of my mathy functions, like when I wrote, I kind of wrote my own collision systems, but I need a lot of like functions for like, you know, a box to box, an oriented box to box intersection. Oh, we're breakpointed. It just never went over here. Okay, let's put that away for now. And those types of functions are really nice, because the AI can pretty much one-shot those because they're really generic functions. Like I have this my math utils folder or file here, and like, you know, getting the area of a triangle, you know, AI'd that. Getting triangle centroid, that was AI. Line mesh intersection, that was AI. And this is I didn't even know this algorithm existed, but I told it what I needed, and it was like, oh, you probably want a DDH reversal, and I was like, oh, sick. So it wrote this too. Check box cylinder overlap function. So a lot of these are completely AI generated, and then I just kind of tinkered with them a little bit until they worked. What is vibe coding? So there are Copilot is one such tool here, but it's effectively vibe coding is when you have some sort of AI integration in your code editor. And there are code editors built specifically for this. I think Cursor is the most popular one out there right now. I haven't used it, but we have an internal one. I think GitHub Copilot is probably one of the most popular ones, but it's where you just entirely use AI to write code. And so it's a very memey name, and it means you're just kind of vibing with the AI, and like you're not actually writing any code yourself. And the stories you hear on Reddit are like how people like create like these entire, you know, applications and stuff from vibe coding, and they've created like an entire software as a service business and stuff like that. But when you look deeper into it, you start seeing a lot of people where the AI starts to break down and suck more when the project is bigger and when it needs a lot of context. And it like kind of edits the code for you, and you're just really just reviewing the code that it writes, really. And I've been trying to do that myself at work, and it's been difficult, I'll say. So I'm very skeptical of the claims that people make. I think what they do is they make really generic products. Or like I think it's probably great for proof of concepts, great for getting an app started off the ground. But when you get into an actual production application, that's a large code base that has very, very many specific systems and concepts going on, it seems to start to break down. I think the biggest issue with AI right now is context recall. Like being able to look at all of the context that it has and focus on the important bits. Like the larger the context gets, the worse it is at doing that. It seems. That's my take, at least, and I'll take that with a grain of salt. Someday, if you have a chance, do you want to create a business? Like you're not going to code your entire life, right? I might. I don't know. I used to have a business when I was young. If I had it my way, I would just work on this game for the rest of my life and get paid for it. So. What do you think about a coder life cycle? I mean, no one is willing to do coding his whole life. Wait, what? What are you saying? What do you think about a coder life cycle? Mean no is willing to do coding his whole life. That would it be? I think you need to rephrase that for me to understand. Yeah, I use AI a little bit for the more general something is, the better AI typically is at doing it. But all projects eventually get into a state where they require really specific solutions. Okay, this guy, what were you doing there? Oh, he's fallen. Okay. We got a faller. So that might have happened from, well, he was falling already. Okay, he fell through the ground. What made you fall? You might have just fallen right when you might have been falling immediately when you spawned. Yeah, you just kind of spawned in a shitty location, didn't you? So why did that spawn point not get projected? Huh? Because yeah, that's not on top of the nav mesh. Okay, what terrain chunk is this? Does that automatically go to the terrain chunk? That would be nice. I need like a little selector thing here. This is terrain chunk 100, which is probably somewhere towards the top. Yeah, it's right here. Okay, so now I can see the spawn points on this terrain chunk. That was a red boy. Let me turn on the nav mesh. That should have been a good one, though. Yeah, we're like culling way too many now, I think. And this one, they should all be projected onto the nav mesh. Ooh, but I guess the nav mesh was underneath. Oh. I think that was overdose for me today. Yeah, a lot of information. I'm just yapping at you guys. I get it. I get it. Okay, so he's actually underneath the nav mesh. Okay, so maybe projecting to nav mesh. Maybe I shouldn't do that in the vertical direction. But the same issue could still occur. That's annoying. That spawn point actually just got projected underneath the terrain. So I think we actually need to do two things here. Project to nav mesh. And then also a line trace. Oh god. And also a procedural terrain subsystem line trace. Thorwin, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Sounds tempting to use AI integration. I restrain myself to ask ChatGPT and correct him till he got it right enough, and then I can try to do it on my own. Frustrating, but it's really helped me learn. Yeah, I mean, I don't see any problem with using AI to learn as long as you're like not just... I think the bad way to use AI is just blindly accepting what it gives you and not trying to understand why. I mean, I kind of do that. Like with these math things, like I just blindly accept it and I try it out. Because I don't know. For this, it's like, do I really need to understand like 3D geometry? To a certain level, I do. I know what I need, but like, how do I? What's the actual theorem and equation for two oriented boxes intersecting with each other? You know, do I need to understand that? I mean, probably not. But like for general coding, I think you should. And especially if you're trying to learn how to write code and program and stuff, I think you should definitely step through the code yourself mentally, try to understand what each line is doing. And then I think writing it yourself is a great way to get that to solidify. It's kind of like writing something down on paper rather than just trying to remember it. It'll probably just solidify itself quite a bit more. So I think I need to do like... Let's do this. F vector trace start. F vector trace end. Yeah, I think we want to do that. Oh, I need to like get location. Oh, this is kind of nasty. Wait, what was it? Location. New line that, but the start, we're going to go from top to bottom. 1000, let's just do... And I should probably wire up the nav agent to extents, but let's do 180. We'll just do minus here. We're going to do a line trace. I'm going to do a line trace here to settle it back down on the ground. Give me that. Do I need any other params in there? Draw debug? Nah, we're fine. Do you think people that vibe code need to going to do advanced review on their projects, review all the coding, and all people that vibe code can judge the code is good or bad? I think I understand what you're asking. Yeah, I think there are a lot of vibe coders who don't understand how to. Uncle Derek, what's your opinion on bread? That's funny. Bread is good. I love me some bread. But yeah, I think there's a lot of vibe coders who just like blindly accept it. and don't actually. And I think those people, like, these are the people I've seen posts online, and I don't know how like true they are or not, but like, oh yeah, I know nothing about coding, but I coded an entire software as a service, you know, business. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you just don't understand coding. And there's so much beyond just writing the code, like for production systems and stuff. But yeah, I do think you need to actually understand how to write code. And like a lot of times, like, you know, I've been trying vibe coding at work, and like, there are a lot of times it will solve it or do the thing that I need it to do, but it doesn't do it in like the best way, or like it does it in a really unoptimal way. It does it in a way that's really bad for maintainability and scalability of the system. And so, yeah, I think what we're going to see is people who are relying too much on it without reviewing the output and thinking about the bigger picture will end up shooting themselves in the foot down the road. What's that code? This is code for a video game. Okay, so trace success, and we'll say if there is no trace success, probably continue, skip it, because that means we're like floating around somewhere. They did a study where people who used GitHub Copilot had 41% more bugs in their code. Evil Turnip, that's a fascinating study. I'd like to see that. What was the sample size? How were they determining that? Was it just a survey? You know, there's so many questions I have. That feels like such a hard thing to quantify. Like, were they just going based off their open issues in the GitHub code base or something? That seems like a very hard thing to accurately quantify. Okay, but if we do have a trace success, we're going to be down here, and we're going to say out hit result dot impact point is going to be what we want. So we need to now set location to the impact point, and then we should have finally we should have a working location. Spawn location, now spawn transform get location. So now let's change everything from projected spawn location. There we go. Wait, this is a nav location. Wait, how is that even working? Okay, apparently that just worked. Okay, weird. Okay, cool. Make it const. They probably used AI to get the data, it's fine. There's a lot of variables to consider there. It was done by some firm that specializes in coding metrics, apparently. Yeah, it's I don't know. Skeptical of that number, but could be more accurate. I know I feel like as I've been trying to vibe code with our internal tools, like I felt so much less confident in the code. Like, and I end up spending more time reading over it than versus if I just, because like usually after I write some code and I'm going to send it out for review, I do one last read through of it and I, you know, maybe clean some things up. I do that like fucking 10 times when AI writes it for me because I'm just so unconfident in it. And I don't have that mental model as well of like, what is this code doing and why? Like, I do have that a little, like, to some extent. But when I'm the one writing the code, I am so much more confident in every single bit of that because I'm the one who put it there. I know why it was put there, why I'm doing things that way and not the other way, you know, that kind of thing. I also find myself I'm much more impatient. I'm much more impatient when I'm vibe coding. The tools just don't feel like they're all the way there yet. They probably will soon though. Probably will soon. Okay, but I think this can work good now. Hopefully this will fix some of those issues. Me too, that's relieving to hear. When AI writes, I feel like I forget how to read it properly. Yeah, and I mean, you sound like someone who's like learning programming and stuff. So you maybe haven't done too many code reviews. But when you're reviewing someone's code versus you're the one who actually, like when you write the code, you have like an intimate knowledge of it. Versus when you're reviewing someone else's code, even a non-AI, someone else. It takes a lot to grok it, you know? It takes a lot more than if you had just written it. Oh my God, this guy again. Okay, we'll have to rebuild there. Hey, Cyber Dude here. Welcome in, Cyber Dude. Which language? This is C++. Unreal Engine C++. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is that I feel similarly when I'm looking at AI code. I feel similarly to when I review someone else's code, but even less confident. Like when someone else sends it to me, I'm like, oh yeah, you've been a software engineer for fucking a decade. You know, I can trust your code to a certain extent. You know. What are you building? We're working on a video game, Unreal Engine. It'll be RPG Colony Sim Roguelite with procedural destructible terrain, with an ECS system built in it to run thousands and thousands of entities across the world at all times, to make the world feel alive and stuff like that. So we're working on doing some error handling for. Right now, it's actually we're doing error handling on the procedural spawn locations quite a bit actually. But doing a little bit of movement error handling and capturing. Let's actually close these state trees for now. Okay, clear everything. Let's run it. Turn off the navigation stuff, yeah. There you go. There's the terrain. There she is. Here I am. And we're spawning entities right now. There they are. So we're just kind of keep an eye on this for any red splots. Any red boys. And they all seem good now. So far. More and more should be spawning. I write code and forget it for a long time, then I come back to it to figure out what I was thinking. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone does, right? Once you get to a big enough project. You know, I do that all the time. And I'm like, who wrote this fucking code? It's like, well, of course I know that man. He's me. Yeah, past me sucks at writing code. Current me is much better than past me. Current me makes no mistakes. Okay, yeah, no bad movements yet. No errant movements. I kind of want to clear this. Let's clear it real quick. Well, I probably shouldn't have done that. I actually probably shouldn't have done that. Okay, yeah. Pause, because now I can't see where they spawned at. Their spawn locations. Ooh, that guy. And like literally, as soon as I started. Oh, he's falling. Okay, where's this guy at? Yeah, oh, he's been falling. Shit. Okay. So I guess he was falling. I guess if you're falling for enough frames, I think I should probably put a breakpoint or something. Now this guy has been falling for a while too. Where did you start out at? You started fine. Okay, so here's a good example that we can probably take a peek at to figure out why they're falling. So you do seem like you're on the ground. Let's get the nav mesh going here. Okay, where are you moving to? Okay, you are going over there. I see the point you're supposed to be moving towards. He's turning, he's rotating. You're doing great. You are doing great. You're doing such a good job. Okay, here's where it gets a little awkward. Interesting. Okay, so there's like a bump here. There's like a bump. He is within acceptance radius, so he stops. He should stop. Okay, now we got a new path. Where is he? Oh, he's moving over here now. Okay. He's moving over there. Of your idea, is it an infinite map? The algorithm could be. The algorithm could be. But I've clamped the map on purpose. Because I want to keep like the whole world online. You know, if it was infinite, that would be, you know, very, very difficult to do, or nigh impossible. Nigh impossible. Okay, so here's the set of frames. Okay, so he goes here. And the gravity trace line should have hit that, I believe. No, it's actually, the slope was too steep. Okay. Okay, I think I see the issue. So there's a little yellow line here. That's like the gravity trace line. And that started below the terrain. So there's the issue there. Now, at one point I was doing like a forwards trace and a downwards trace on the gravity processing side of things. What did I change? We have gravity. Let's see here. If we're affected by gravity, which we are. We take the move direction. Current location. Get the move direction, move distance. We do a line trace from new location. From new location, plus move distance to minus move distance. Shouldn't that be from current location? From current location to new location? That seems weird, and I'm not logging that. I am, actually. That's the yellow one? That's the yellow one. Wait a second. Why is that up? Why is that straight up and down? Oh, I'm using, right. I'm using move distance in the Z component there. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't think that's the... What are you doing? Now, there's a bug in my room. 1 second. Okay, crisis averted. Crisis averted. The bug is gone. The bug is gone. Okay. So yeah, we're just doing the new location up and down based on the move distance. But I guess why that fails is because the slope of the thing that I moved into, the forward was into the slope. So what's your day-to-day life as a senior Swede? Do you write a code 1,000 line or more every day? Probably no. Every day, certainly no. I mean, there are some days where I don't write any code. Like the better you get at programming, the less programming you actually end up doing, and the more like designing you do. I mean, most days I'm writing code though. Yeah, some days 1,000 lines, you know. But yeah, there are days where I'm just collaborating with others. There are days where I'm just working on design docs. There are days where I do a little bit of coding, a little bit of designing, you know. A lot of CL reviews as well. Meetings, of course. Okay, yeah, I don't think this is the way I should be doing the line trace. If I'm not on grass, so if that doesn't hit anything, I do the same thing. Oh, I do the right, the old, the built-in line trace. Yeah. Which I should probably change to do the so first, okay, let's change this. We're gonna change this. U trace, utils, line trace multi. I need just a singular blocking one. Should I make a new one or just stick with the multi? We can just stick with the multi for now, I think. Okay, let's make a B array f my hit results. Hit results, pass that in. Drawwood, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. Start and end. Now, yeah, I'm just doing so. So we have the new location. So I will have like let me paint this up here. So we have the new location. Another follow. Kiansur, welcome in. Thank you. Welcome in, guys. Thank you for the follows. But I have okay. So I have like point A, point B. I move, let's say that much, and then the line trace that I do is plus or minus this length from here down, and for terrain. Now, if there was a slope of terrain that was like this, that's the scenario, right? Because I start below the terrain. This is the scenario that happens. The starting point, I move. I only do the move distance in the plus or minus direction, so I've fallen through. That's the scenario that's happening right now. So I should probably do this. I think I need to do 2 traces. So the more senior you are, the more involved the system architecture and design. Yeah, typically. Typically, I would say so, yeah. But you just kind of spend more of your time doing that because like you're probably faster at writing code as well. But everyone on my team is pretty senior, I'd say. We only have like one new guy. Everyone else has worked here for like 3+ years, so pretty much everyone is doing system architecture, design, and coding. So So yeah, anyways, yeah, I think I need 2 line traces. I don't know that there's a singular way to do this, because also the pathfinding that happened here went, it is, so I can't even rely on the direction of the pathfinding, because the pathfinding also, it's lossy, right? It's just a line. So it goes through the terrain as well. So I think I need to do one in the direction that I'm moving. See if I've hit something. This is going to make it really difficult to walk up slopes. Like how would the nav work walking up the slope? I could get the impact normal, which would be like that. I could get the tangent of that, which would be like that. So yeah, I should probably do 1 line trace going that way if I have a hit. Line trace just, and this is just, green is just velocity direction. So do a line trace in the velocity direction from current location to wherever the new location would be. If I have a hit, I should probably use the tangential vector direction, move direction instead. If I don't have a hit, I need to do this downwards trace here. This is like this is the gravity trace, right? And that's to be like, hey, where should I be on the ground? Because I could be going the opposite direction, where I'm like starting here. What do we do? Start for green and going that direction. I haven't hit anything. So I need to be like falling, right? But if I'm only going like maybe that far in one frame, like I don't actually need to be falling. Like I can just settle, I can just use the downwards trace, which will do for yellow, to just settle me back down. Right there. So I think we need 2 line traces per entity per frame. I think is what we need to do. What made you choose UE over Unity or other game engines? I liked having the option for visual scripting blueprints. I liked having that option. The pricing model is a lot better for Unreal Engine than it is for Unity. And I see Unreal Engine as being closer to the cutting edge of game development. So I wanted to be a part of that. Those are kind of the main reasons. I don't know how you guys could understand this. Mind blows me. Good job, bro. To have such a good problem-solving skills takes patience. Just built up over a lot of years. I think everyone, in a theoretical sense, everyone can do it. Practically, no. In a practical sense, not everyone can do it. But this is problem-solving that has been built up over years and years of solving problems every day. But thank you for the kind words. Kind of sucks that we have to do 2 traces. I don't know that there's a way to make it work effectively without 2 traces. I think there's a way to like make it mostly work with only 1 traces. With only 1 trace. But I think to account for all scenarios, we have to do 2. And I don't actually need the multi by channel, but that's what I have for now, so that's what we're going to use. So let's do the directional one first. So let's start at current location. Or the velocity direction one first. And new location, current location plus velocity. Yeah, so we'll do that. What are my other params here? Trace channel. Yeah, let's just do... Should I do ECC terrain? I kind of regret putting that. Do I have a line trace multi by profile would be nice. I think I would need to do, so let me do this. To do make line trace single for profile. That'll work better. This should work for now, but line trace profile should be better. Can I land a job, only study one programming language? Probably, although you will likely need to learn more. Once you learn one programming language, though, you know, the other ones come a lot faster because you just kind of understand it better at that point. And, you know, the more you do that, the more the programming languages just turn into a tool, right? And then you kind of just turn into a, you know, a general engineer that just uses what tools are best for the job. So, like, you know, I got hired and we were using Angular Dart. Never worked with Angular, never worked with Dart. We use Java on the back end. I've done, you know, a little bit of Java in every job, but I'm no Java expert by any means. But once you get to a certain point, it doesn't matter what the language is to a certain extent. You know, does it slow you down not knowing the language? Of course, but you just kind of pick it up as you go. But yeah, for starters, yeah, I think you just search for programming jobs. But I think now it's probably pretty rough. I think back in the day that was a lot more realistic to just do one language and get a job, as long as you know like one part of the job description. But I think if you're trying to get a job in software engineering now, I think what you'll probably need to go for is like a tech stack. You know, I think Mern is one of the more popular ones for like front end stuff, which is what is it? MySQL, Express, React Native, or React Next JS or something like that. That's a pretty common stack. What's the point of building an open world game that you put your sweat, tears, and endless hours debugging to publish it as a free game at the end of the day on platforms such as Steam? I'm not sure. Who does that? Some people just do it for fun. Some people just want people to enjoy it. There's other monetizations options. I'm not saying that I'm going to do it for free. That's not what I'm saying. But you can monetize it with cosmetics or other ways. But that goes for any game. It doesn't matter if it's open world or not. Okay, so we're going to do this one. Bool. This is going to be velocity trace. We'll say velocity dir trace, velocity direction trace. So if we have a velocity dir trace, success, hit success. I imagine we just want probably just the first one. It results, let's just get the 0 result. We don't really need multi here. We'll change that in the future. We'll say this is our hit. So let's get hit.impact point. But really we want impact normal. Let me look at, do I fill that out here? Oh, I don't even do the terrain trace here. Oh. Oh, okay. Auto procedural terrain subsystem. Yeah, give me that. Procedural terrain subsystem, line trace. Start, come on, fill it out for me. You know what to do. Hit, line trace, out hit, material, draw, debug. Material will just set to false. I don't have that option. But debug, I also don't have that option. Also don't have that option. We'll do the optional parameter there. Be draw debug. Line trace, yes. Okay, so let's just say like bool terrain trace success, and then we'll say if terrain trace success, we can add this hit to the out hits. This one. let's name that a bit better. We'll call it terrain hit because this is specific to terrain. We've done that to do. Terrain hit. There we go. What's the difference in day-to-day life in general between dev side and the operator side in IT jobs? I'm not sure what you mean by the operator side. I'm not even sure I could speak on behalf of it because I haven't done that side. Okay, but now we're doing that. We are doing that. Now I need to know what I'm doing for here we go, for terrain chunks that we're tracing through impact point, location. I don't seem to fill out the impact normal, I don't think, unless I do that somewhere else. I do face normal. I should probably fill out the impact normal, which, is that any different from the face normal? Maybe I can get rid of that and just use impact normal. Let's refactor all that. Let's see. Am I using that in blueprints anywhere? No. Let's just do impact normal. Which means we can get rid of that because impact normal is already there. And we can get rid of that. Out normal. Out face normal. Pretty sure this is the same thing, and I'll just let it bite me in the ass if it's not. Where the fuck is face normal? Location, impact normal, normal, face normal. Okay. Okay, so we have that line trace working. So now we have the impact normal. I need to get the direction that is tangential to the impact normal. And oh, this is actually going to be kind of hard to get. This may be an AI job here. This may be an AI job. Let me look at this. So we're going in and we get this red vector here. How would I know how to get that one? What are you programming? Working on a video game right now. We're trying to fix our gravity processor, our velocity processor, to make sure we don't fall through the ground. And so I'm doing the line trace in the direction of the velocity, but if we come up with a hit, we get the red here, we get that red direction, that's the impact normal. Ooh, wait a second. Is impact normal the same as face normal? Hang on, I might need to look here. Normal of the hit in world space for the object that was hit by the sweep, if any. For example, if a sphere hits a flat plane, this is the normalized vector pointing out from the plane. In the case of impact with a corner or edge of surface, usually the most opposing normal. Okay, and how's that different from normal? Normal of the hit in world space for the object that was swept. For the object that was swept. Equal to impact normal for line tests. Okay. I think that works. And on the dev side, you got front-end dev, back-end dev, QA engineer. And on the operator side, you got the network engineer, DB engineer, DevOps. Yeah, I guess at some companies they make that distinction. I think at a lot of companies they expect you to be full stack. Like, we don't have QA engineers, you know. I've never worked at a company that has a QA people. Like, you are the QA as dev. Like, you shouldn't put code out that's broken, right? You need to test your own code. I have seen some companies that do DevOps engineers specifically. But again, I am the DevOps engineer in my current position. So I think there's going to be a lot of companies where, like, we own and maintain and build our own release cycle and continuous integration deployment stuff. And we do our own database stuff as well. So we kind of do all that. But I mean, you can look up each of those individual jobs and probably get a better answer than I'm able to give you. What about copying your code, part of your code, to ChatGPT and describe the issue you are facing to better guide you on solving it? I'm not facing an issue right now. I'm just trying to write code at the moment. Bro's trying to simulate Newtonian physics. Shit. Yeah, I'm creating my own collision system so I can efficiently render stuff. Because, like, my entities, where the fuck am I? Like, I wrote an ECS system to be, like, super efficient and stuff, and I could be using, like, the built-in gravity and velocity and stuff, but you can't run that on the game thread. I need it to be really efficient. I need to run it on the background threads, so writing my own system that is decoupled is actually going to be way more performant. My users are the quality assurances team. And you know what? Users cause the most bugs. I'll be honest. If we just got rid of those users, all the code would ship perfectly. But yeah, I think, I'm going to say, let me give you math utils. Is that open? Yeah, give me math utils. Okay, do I want, what model should we use? Claude, Gemini, GPT? Premium models, ooh. 10x. Oh, this is a new little, implement quantum physics, okay. 01, we'll try 01. It just got rid of all my fucking files I just gave it, that's annoying. Give me math utils, because that's where I want you to write the file. I'll give you velocity processor as well, but I just want you to use that as a reference. I don't want you to actually change that. Okay, I'm going to say for my velocity processor, I need to get the direction. How do I want to say this? Dude, coming up with a prompt is actually kind of the hardest part. Use Claude 4. Claude is best for coding. They only have, oh yeah, Claude. They have Claude 4 now. Okay, sick. That is brand new. The other day that wasn't there. Literally yesterday that wasn't there. Okay, we'll use Claude 4. My velocity processor, I need to get the direction that is perpendicular. Well, let me make this more general. I need to get the directional vector that slides along the potentially impacted surface. Create a function in my math utils that takes in the impact location, that takes in the impact normal and velocity normal, and velocity direction, and outputs the direction to slide in. I don't know, is it gonna understand what I mean by like slide in? Because like what I don't want is this direction. I don't want that direction. And I don't want the direction going like, because we're looking at a 2D representation. I don't want the direction going into it or out of it. Do you work at cybersecurity as well at your company? No. No. to slide in. Is that gonna make sense? What's the I'll say perpendicular direction. Okay. All right. Come on, AI, give it to me. What is the math here? I imagine Claude 4 is going to run quite slow. Attach the image as well. That would do nothing. That would do absolutely nothing. That would probably throw it off even more. Nor do I think I can attach that here. Okay. You good, bro? My math, what did you do? What is that? What is that file? Okay, you didn't add it in the header file. It like created some fucking other file or something. That was weird. Okay, let's review. Impact normal, velocity direction, ensure it's normalized. Sure, sliding direction is velocity direction minus the dot product of velocity direction and normal times normal. Project the velocity direction onto the plane perpendicular to the impact normal. Original vector, which is velocity direction, which is the one going in, times the normal. I have no idea what that, or no, not times, dot product of the normal. Dot product gives you the perpendicular one, right? Dot product gives you the perpendicular direction, but we're going to multiply that by normal and then subtract that from velocity direction. Return the normalized sliding direction. I mean, I have no way, I mean, we'll just have to look at that, right? Did it make any changes here? It did. You didn't change the header file though. That's fine. I'll just accept that. We'll accept that and then just create the declaration real quick. And we'll have to log it and see. We will log it and see. Mention the direction as an X, Y, or Z axis. It should be direction independent. Man, you all got opinions on how to use AI, huh? There's direction, it should be direction independent. Should handle all directions. Maybe it could help you with the visualization. I don't need help with the visualization. You're a Swede, but you're working as DevOps, bro. I feel like that's how most companies do it. I feel like that's like every team owns their own release cycle. To me, it's weird to have someone else owning your release cycle and configuration. To me, that's weird. I mean, it's not the kind of thing that you need to work on all the time either. Like, you set it up once and for the most part it runs. You know, you don't need a whole person to do that. Okay, but let's we're gonna do a vlog. I guess we need the arrow. We'll do vlog. I'm just gonna copy that one, but we'll do arrow here. Vlog arrow, and let's make this let's do orange. Vlog arrow, start location, which is going to be current location. End location is going to be view my generic utils, get point along direction. So current location, sliding direction, move distance. What is move distance here? Move direction dot size, fmath max. I'm doing a max of 10. Let's just do move direction dot size. Well, it should be current. It should be the distance between current and end. So let's do f vector distance between current location and new location, because that's the trace we're doing. Yeah, that makes more sense. Put that there. Orange, we don't need any text on that or anything. Sliding direction. So if we hit that, we do want to apply the sliding direction to the current location now that we've figured out what that needs to be. Right? You can go away now. Thank you, Claude. We'll see if that works. Like your beard, bro. Looks good. Thank you. Nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Yeah, what do I want to apply this starting from the point or from like the current location? Which one would I prefer? Because like I could, because like here's the green is the starting point. So if I apply that, I could apply that direction to that point, or I could apply it here. I almost need to like subtract whatever this distance is to get like the direction. But I guess maybe we change the velocity direction or something. I mean, let's just change the velocity direction and we'll see what happens. So velocity direction. Is that const? No. Velocity equals sliding direction times move distance. That's not a bad... But it's normalized. But I guess the move distance is... Move direction dot size, current location to new location. Let's do this. Move direction dot size. We'll do slide amount equals move direction dot size, and then we're going to subtract the distance between the hit dot impact point please, and current location. Current location. F vector dist. Okay, that's going to be the slide amount. So velocity. I think I should just set the location actually here. I just set the location there. No, I'll comment that out. We're just gonna do sliding direction. Just set velocity equal to sliding direction. Sliding direction. No, we do need to do move distance too. Not move distance, move direction squared. That's because sliding direction is normalized, and we basically want to unnormalize it, right? But we should probably just do velocity.size, right? Yeah, velocity.size is speed. That is our like speed. So we should do, yeah, that's good. That's what we want. Okay. If that's not successful, then we need to do the downwards gravity trace, which is more so what that is. And we want to do basically this method again, rather than that one. Line trace multi by channel, get world, hit results. Yeah, we can probably just reuse that hit results, honestly. Let's just reuse that. We're going to put that output into hit results. Start, end. We got those. Trace channel. We're going to do terrain again. Trace entities, false. Ignore that, yeah. That's good. So be on ground. And we're going to use move dist here. Which is not wait, too many if blocks here. This is like ran into sloped terrain, and else is going to be no terrain hit. no, I'll say no velocity direction hit. So move and settle on the ground. That's effectively what we want to do here. Hey, brother. Learning coding language called SQL. I do. Most programmers know what SQL is. Yeah, for data analysis. As a coder, if you had one lesson to give me, what would it be? I don't know if I could pick one. And SQL's kind of its own thing. I don't know, maybe what I said earlier, code is read more than it is written. So readability is more important than how easy it is to write. And the easiest way to write something is not always the most readable way to write something. If I graduated a CS degree but didn't have experience in an IT job, would I still can be hired as an intern? I mean, if you already graduated, probably not. And what if I'm not bringing so much benefits to the company? Well, I mean, you just have to find a company that's still hiring junior engineers. Like, you're a junior engineer. What I would recommend you do is have a lot of side projects, as many as you can, that relate to what kind of job you want on your resume. If you have a degree, that's great, but show people that you can actually walk the walk and not just, you know, pass a test. Make some projects, put it on a public GitHub that match up with what kind of job you want. The more of those you have, the more impressive they are, the better chances you are of getting hired. That's how I was able to get hired without a degree. Code is read more than is written. True words haven't been spoken. Recently got my first free job a couple months ago, and I can tell you, yeah. And I would hope most engineers know that by now. Code is read more than it is written. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. So we're doing the trace. And we're just going to start... and we're just going to start in move dist direction, which is not used there anymore, so let's put that in the enclosing scope. Hit result isn't used either. Move direction, we can probably put that out there as well. Spend like 90% of my time roasting other people's code, but hey, just understand when you're doing that in your head, like I do that too, but then you have to think, yeah, my code's getting roasted too. So you kind of have to roast yourself as well in the process. That's a deep lesson. I love coding. You're welcome. I do enjoy the building aspect of things. Okay, be on ground. So if I get this trace, or if I don't get this trace, I'm falling. If that's false, I'm falling. And that's effectively, yeah, that's effectively, we don't do that anymore. Yeah, entity vlog segment, we're gonna do that yellow, make this a bit more readable. Start, trace, start trace. Okay, give me the end trace. That's not what I wanted. Go. And that, see, look at this. This is wrong. This is wrong. It should have done minus. If I hadn't looked at that closer, we would have had a bug there. I would have had to figure that out. Okay. What got you into PCG? Are you using any plugins in UE like PCG biomes? I was. I tried that out, and my god was that fucking complicated, so I kind of did my own thing. And I'm very happy that I did, because that was getting a pain in the ass to work with. Voxel plugin? No. PCG extended toolkit? I've not heard of that, but no. Tell me what that is. What's in the PCG extended toolkit? Or is most of this your own code? No, you're totally okay for asking questions. You can ask me any and all questions. Yeah, I kind of created my own little biome system. It's not really a system, really. It's just like kind of passing data. Here's my world. And each color on here represents a biome. And each pixel represents a terrain chunk. And so each terrain chunk gets passed a PCG graph that is based on whatever the biome definition is for this. Like this is supposed to be, this is the forest graph if you look up here. So I only have 2 right now, which is forest and meadows. So every one of these pixels knows what color it is and what it gets passed information from C++. And so this is the forest graph. And here's each terrain chunk. So each terrain chunk has its own PCG component. Here's the graph. And so there's like a ton of them that run. And then here's the meadows graph is over here. And then they each have different terrain noises and stuff as well. So that's how I handle biomes in my game. And you can also see that the textures, I need to blend the textures, but those will be there. Eventually I'll make it to where, what zone am I in right now? Amberwood Forest is the name. Amberwood Forest. So I have, the way I create the mountains is with these splines. There's the zone spline. Eventually I'll use that on the PCG graph to make sure that scenarios like this don't happen. You know, we got a couple trees leaking over into the next zone there. Yeah, like right there. So I'll use this to call the graphs and clamp the graphs, and so any neighbor chunks will actually have 2 graphs ran for them. One for one side of the spline and one for the other one. So that's how I handle the PCG stuff. And I did have to write some of my own nodes, like for the chunk surface sampler, because my terrain chunks don't rely on collision. And that's how I get, you know, PCG spawned out here. Like there's no actual mesh there. I'm just using the terrain chunk like triangle and vertex data. So it's just data, right? There's just data here. There's no mesh. But I put all that data into a bounding volume hierarchy, like spatial mesh, spatial data structure.
Hello.
And then I use my own Johnny B. Welcome in, guys.
Why are you running?
Why are you running?
Why are you running?
There you go, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
What the dog doing?
Thank you for the raid, Shawnee. Welcome in. Let me hit you with a shout out. Those don't know Shawnee B. He's working on a almost like a, not like a turn-based Dark Souls, but like a super hot type Dark Souls, where you kind of queue up actions and you kind of let those actions run and you watch your character perform them. But so does the rest of the world. The rest of the world does that too. And so it's this kind of, if you've ever seen the game Super Hot, it's like when you move, the world moves. And so it's a similar concept to that. It's a pretty interesting concept. So if you don't know Shawnee B and you're interested in Unreal Engine development, you should give his channel a follow and check him out. What's popping in Zafira Winterwood's world? A lot of error handling. I was just talking about this chunk surface sampler, which works similarly to the built-in chunk surface sampler, but I just kind of line trace through this spatial data structure to generate all the PCG spawn points. So that's how PCG is spawned here. That's how the nav mesh is here, even though there's no actual mesh built. And I save on memory that way and performance. So that I also built my own spawner node here that uses data tables and stuff. And that's to like kind of connect it to my caching subsystem. Like the only ones I keep in memory are the ones that have collision on them because they affect the nav mesh. But you'll notice like the little things like the grass, and if there were any mushrooms in this forest, those would be another thing because those don't affect collision either. But those kind of get serialized to disk, and that happens as a part of this node, and it can load those too rather than regenerate them. So trying to save on memory there by getting rid of points that don't have any collision, and a lot of the memory is in this grass. Like there's a lot of the grass points. A lot of the grass points are in memory. So I can do a better job of culling those as well. Right now they're just like everywhere, but that's about what I built for PCG. A couple of nodes. PCG Extended Toolkit is pretty nice, and I have a ton of functionality and blueprints. So I'll have to check that out. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. I didn't know there was such a thing. Couldn't find that page. I'm sure I can find it. PCG Extended Toolkit. Oh, there's a GitHub for it too. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Thanks for the heads up about that. But Shawnee, if you're still here, how was your stream? What were you doing? What were you up to? How did it go? I'm trying to fix my gravity and velocity processing. So that's what we're working on now. Okay, so no velocity direction hit, so move and settle on the ground. So if we do hit this B on ground, if B on ground, I think start trace is the new location. End trace should be new location as well. So there was a potential bug that AI put in there. What do we do for move direction? So if we're on the ground, I think I just need to set the location there. I could do that. Let's, it looks like the rest of this code, if falling, so, falling, God, I hate the, otherwise if B on ground and is falling. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take all this. And we'll put it here. We'll take it and put it over there. Okay. And let's just extract the hit result here. F. Well, I guess I need to know. Yeah, we need to do it here. F. My hit results. Hit results. Hit results 0. Yeah, if we're on the ground, then I know we got a hit result, so that's safe to do there. Just a short one, thinking about dungeon room sizes. Oh yeah. Forgot you were working on that. Turns out the plane in my head. Turns out the planes in my head would result in enormous dungeon layouts, and that takes several hours to clear. That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. What language is this? This is C++. Unreal Engine C++. So I need to rethink some of the layout rules and dimensions. Be cool if you get a variable sizes to that. You know, I think nice big long dungeons are awesome. You know, think about Legend of Zelda and some nice long dungeons in there. If I get hired as a junior SWE, do I get tasked to creating a feature within a certain deadline immediately after I get hired? I'm going to say probably not. There's some ramp up time there usually, but I can't speak on behalf of every company. It's going to be different everywhere. Thoughts about using AI to code? We have discussed that in great detail. We have discussed that in great detail. But yeah, I don't think doing vibe coding is entirely feasible at the moment. I use Copilot, so I have the autocompletes are nice. I do prompt a little bit. I do a little bit of prompting. For the more general something is, I think the more useful AI is for it. But, you know, once your code base, your project gets to a certain size, AI kind of stops working as well because of the lack of context recollection. What are your thoughts on creating a SaaS? We'll use SaaS D's nuts. How about that? My dungeons will come in groups of 3 floors, so I guess I'm aiming for 1 hour per floor. 3 floors equals a complete run or dungeon story. That sounds good to me. You know, do a floor, you know, a nice hour-long game sesh, do a floor, you know, save, take a break. Have you ever tried it? I have created a lot of software in my day. Copilot works on Unreal Engine C++. Autocomplete barely works for me. I did get that same experience when I first started using it, but it's gotten a lot better. It does produce useful autocompletes now, and has been for some time. I forget. I think I started using this like a year ago, maybe. And yeah, when I first started, it did not understand game development at all, or Unreal Engine C++. Now it does a pretty good job though. Vlog location set on ground. If we're not on ground, log the falling. Velocity plus or equals gravity. And then we're doing the exponential decay on the X and Y axes. So you don't just like keep going at an angle while you're falling. You'll kind of go down. And then we clamp it to a maximum size as well when falling. So if we're on ground and we are also falling, so what's going to happen in that case? It means we were already falling. So this is if we were previously falling and now hit the ground. So I'm going to change the direction of this so it reads a little better. If we were previously falling and hit the ground, yeah. Be on ground. Okay, so if we're on ground at the very end of this, new location equals hit result dot location. And we just do a little bit above it, a little bit above the ground. And we set the is falling boolean. Can I try creating a SAS, or else what would be opinion? Create whatever you want, whatever you're motivated to create. I can't tell you what to make. I'll make lunch and I'll be back on stream later. Have a good lunch. Good luck with PCG. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I think this is ready to test now. I am 100% expecting this to absolutely fail. I have changed a lot of this. I've changed a lot of it. So we'll see how well that works. What's the bug currently? Not really a bug, just improving the... Well, I guess it is kind of a bug, but we're making sure entities can't fall through the ground. That's what we're doing. So this is it. We can back up here. Let me see. Back it up. So we have a situation. Brown is the terrain. Green is start location. My velocity processor has velocity in that direction. And before I was doing this kind of the yellow trace, which is based off this distance. But that trace would never hit ground, and so they would move. If they hit a slope that was too steep, they would fall through the ground. And so I've updated it to use 2 line traces in the direction of their velocity, and then also in the gravity direction. And we've isolated some scenarios that we want to test out. So start the vlogger, run the thing. Run the thing, get rid of the navoc tree. I don't care about that. Probably don't care about any of that, actually. So we'll see how many issues we have now. Okay, we should be spawning things soon. So we're looking for little red pips in here. Draw debug line trace multiply channel. Oh, so we're on a background thread and we're drawing debug line. Okay, let's do this. If B draw debug. Or do I do that anywhere else? Okay, let's update that. Yeah, the debug lines do not like being drawn from the background thread. Okay, no issues yet. No issues yet for any of these boys. I suppose we could put a breakpoint so we know when one gets hit. Do I still have that breakpoint in here? The original one? No, I don't. Let's throw that in there. Okay, we immediately, of course, right when I do it, I hit it. Where was that happening from? Entity 19. Are we falling? We are falling. Entity 19. 19. Yeah, okay, so 19 is like falling. So let's go in here, pause. Wait, I was so looking at this and this was not happening. Okay, let's go figure out what happened with 19. Entity 19. Let's move back. Start with your childhood. Start with your childhood, Entity 19. We will set you on ground. You just immediately, okay. Are all of my entities falling to the ground? Well, no, not all of them are. No, some of them move around fine. Okay, so why did this guy? Why you did start underground, I think. No, but you did get set on ground. So we set on ground. Falling is false so far. Zoom in more. Zoom in more. We're going that direction. We've got our path. We're moving fine. Everything's going fine. And I made the orange line trace in the direction. Am I not seeing that one? Vlog entity arrow. If, oh, we only do that if we hit it. Okay, so let's, we're gonna change that to log that every time, just so we can see it. Sliding direction. Oh yeah, it's, yeah, no, never mind. Change that back. Change that back. True Chop, thank you for the follow. Enhance, yeah, exactly. Enhance. Actually, it doesn't make sense to draw that all the time, so we're just gonna keep moving. We just went through a tree. Okay, here is where we failed. This is where we... This is where it all went wrong. Okay, so we got falling true here. Where is the yellow line trace? Yeah, and you are like slightly above the... Honestly, you should have probably should have been falling on that frame too. You're like kind of high above the... You're kind of high above the ground. Wait, where is your yellow line trace? You should be doing a yellow line trace. I've been using UE for about 2.5 years. Getting close to 3 now. But I've been coding for 14. Start trace and in trace. Move direction. Oh, it's max 10. Max 10. Okay, so that's probably... We need to probably not do that, I'm gonna guess. Because that's not... That's probably not hitting anything. Am I seeing these set on ground? I'm not. Okay, so yeah, this isn't working properly. So we do that. We probably don't hit anything there. quite the opposite there. Can you fix the coloring, Ryder? What are you doing? You're freaking out, man. Yeah, okay, so the code is not behaving as I expected it to. There's a good line trace there. Now you're doing the yellow. Okay, but the falling, yeah, we're falling. Set on ground. So we hit the ground and we set him on the ground. And now we're moving again. See, that's fine. That is fine. So everything's working fine, actually. Still. We fell again. But we should be settling along. It's not settling. It's not settling him along the ground. So that's so settle on the ground. If be on ground. So we should get here. New location. Equals hit result. So yeah, we should be getting set on ground in these ones. But I don't see it. I don't actually see it. So we'll have to do some more debugging here. How long does a single person create this, and what if they are in a group? It's taken me about 2.5 years to get to where I'm at on this project. And I cannot speak on behalf of any random group of people. It's kind of, that answer is different for obviously it goes faster if you have more people. What window is this on the left? This is the visual logger. So tools, debug, visual logger. You can use the UE5 macros to log things to it. If the code behaved as you expected, Sweeze wouldn't have a job. True. Well, someone would still have to write it, but yeah. The job would be different and easier. Okay, but we settled back on the ground anyway, so it's like, despite it not working properly, it's still working at all. Where do you fall at, actually? Okay, you're falling at that point. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Okay, right somewhere around here. Is that on ground? Falling. Yeah, I think what's wrong is that, yeah, so same scenario where we're heading into a slope and then we start falling. So he is falling correctly. But I'll have to check that out next time because I have to go to a meeting. But yeah, we're not setting him on ground, and I have a feeling we need to change this. Honestly, it should probably be new location plus move direction size. So we're doing the max, which is the larger number. Whichever number is larger. Yeah, I mean that actually should be fine. 10 is a little small, but yeah. So why am I not seeing this? Yeah, we'll have to uncover that at a different time. I have to go. We'll see if there's anyone on Twitch to send you guys over to. Lucklin doing some dev. He's gonna be right back. Who else is doing dev? Prismatica. Send you guys over to Prismatica. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining me. It was a good stream. Good stream. I'm glad we were starting to get these scenarios ironed out. We'll get it figured out. Shouldn't be too much longer. But I have to go to work, so bye everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good day.